Holy fuck, man. 45 minutes, okay. In that time,
I'm just chilling with my boys and I get it. I'm just chilling with my boys and I get it. I'm just chilling with my boys and I get it.
I got hungry like Cookie Monster does, right?
I'm just chilling with my boys and I get it. I'm just chilling with my boys and I get it. I'm just chilling with my boys and I get it. I'm just chilling with my boys and I get it.
Fuck's sake, just sit somewhere in the damn background and look pretty.
I'm just chilling with my boys and I get it.
People keep fucking jumping to conclusions about the fucking account name, the internet account name. I'm a child witness to suicide. That's another thing. "45 minutes of fucking a computer not fucking working for no good fucking reason will piss you the fuck off." Burn it all on my cake now.
Twin hammers look like the Siamese. I got that beam from the Japanese. My French girl waving and reminded me of mac and cheese. It is what it has to be. I'm killing out who's after me. They have to see me rich, and I swear it wasn't financially. Like who we frontin' for? They flying like there's a chaplain. These bitches could've married a guy. It wasn't Magdalene. I shot like a little bro, a tag-along. It's these instrumentals we got with bragging on. It's rose with beer, real class riches with dragon mind. The nigga with the gate and Sega was never dragging on. The Megatron landing in Lebanon. We was slapping it back and forth like a tender ball. Used to live on French Street, right in the Esplanade. Bitches wanna ship and make us film it like espionage. You know that's why they set for like white niggas in potential network. Chopping in shit to be wet. Like connect for the cylinder, always a spin. I connect for it right into the dome when I get it out the chest to joy rapper. When you go on tour, it's all music. Maybe when we go on tour, it's all shootings. Like other the shots got kicked, I gotta shoot it. Nigga, if you talk that talk, you gotta do it. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down bread. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down bread. Like he just wanna go on tour and make music. Every time you go on tours, it's all shootings. The last of a dying breed.
Yeah, I'm the last of a dying breed. I uppercut these fucks in their chin and they fly with ease. I bleed what I have to bleed. This blood's what I have to see. So big, don't sit with your fam. I call it Applebee's. Who the fuck trying to get stuck? Tell a match for me. That match pack about to get struck. I brought the gasoline. I've never lost. I got OGs to get it back for me. Call me down, call me the crown, call me your majesty, God. They try to handle me, love. No, I'll play that. The bullets in that gray Mac 8-track. They go way back. About them up, top your mark. Look where the safe at. Put numbers on your head. You already covered in face tats, boy. Why they always trying to snake that, boy? Charlie got the defibrillator to shake that, boy. Forget about it. You turn me to Rocky ASAP, boy. I'm the last of a dying breed. They wanna break that, boy. Like, you're bringing all that beat to the farm. My man's branded you. If you don't get respect in the streets, I can't stand with you. They tell you you a threat on the beat. Your man's scamming you. The Benz is like a beast when it spins. Crash Bandicoot. Pull up with a camera crew. Cannons in your face now. Anybody that's lying to us is lying face down. White boy, nice with a pen. This ain't no 8 Mile. We playing hopscotch in the spots where the body's
See, I don't hate white people.
when you go on
There's
tour,
one right
it's
there.
all music. And baby, when we go on tour, it's
all
just shootings. Drive-bys, your eyes wide shut, we gone Kubrick. See, we ain't really got all that.
I think this is the same weed I smoked earlier. We're gonna try this one next.
I'm the last of a down bread. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down bread. Like he just wanna go on tour and make music. I'm the last of a down bread. But every time you go on tours, it's all shootings. I'm the last of a down
One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. See what 11 does. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we rip. Yeah. Moulette yo gazelle, concon ange, yo dessiné pour le monde, quoi. C'est qu'on s'arrive,
When bullets fly by, when bullets fly by, what you gon' do when them bullets fly by? When bullets fly by, when bullets fly by, what you gon' do when them bullets fly by? What you gon' do when them bullets fly by? What you gon' do when them bullets fly by? What you gon' do when them bullets fly by? What you gon' do when them bullets fly by? Pop, pop when you hear the Glock. Tough down, nigga, cause I'm in your spot. Give it up, nigga, you might get shot. I'm the hot shot, so you gonna get shot. Any nigga out here might feel the pop. My 9mm gonna make you drop. I talk about my 9 cause the shit's so hot. When shit goes down, he's ready to pop. He's stressed out, and I'm trigger happy. I gotta take the life and it feels so nasty. Believe me, this shit ain't easy. I'm a nigga with attitude, so fuck you pussy. When bullets fly by, when bullets fly by, what you gon' do when them bullets fly by? When bullets fly by, when bullets fly by, what you gon' do when the bullets fly by? What you gon' do when
I already know what it's gonna weigh, so really all I'm doing is calibrating my scales.
What you gon' do when the bullets fly by? What you gon' do when the bullets fly by? What you gon' do when the bullets fly by? Dark like the boots or snitch to the cops. Me, I cock back, let it go for the power.
It was short.
Fly by like a breeze
I don't think so. I got an application for that.
LCTE, RIP, and KSP, HOTS, HOT, ITS, ME. Yeah, it's me. I let my bullets fly high.
Shooting at you niggas like kites in the sky.
I don't understand that.
I'm killing this rap shit, so what you gonna do?
I'm shooting at kites in the sky. Canadian. I'm gonna burn you like some Canadian charcoal, nigga. Call me the Pac-Man. Cause if Scatman can do it, so can you.
What you gonna do when them bullets fly by? What you gonna do when them bullets fly
Fuck, I could have just stood up and made this
by?
simple.
When them bullets fly by? What you gonna do when them bullets fly by?
Yo, clique caca. Como é que fala caca, yo?
Everyday niggas talking shit like they tough in this motherfucking streets, but they not, nigga. When the bullets fly by, the niggas tough like bitches. It's your boy, you know, H.O.T. that's H.O.T. Cold
I don't know how you guys do where you're from.
Revolution in Process Records.
You see me go through the ozone. To the roaches. And I hunt it down, then I scrape all the resident crystals and I get another ozone, right?
What you gonna do when them bullets fly by? What you gonna do when them bullets fly by?
We do this thing we call marathon, but it only works if you got 3 people or more. No, 3 people. Can't be more, can't be less. You take your hit and you hold it till it comes around again. And be passing out if they ain't used to that shit.
I don't pick locks, I kick doors down and let go shots. Call me hot shot, real life nightmare. And the S, I make niggas cry gangsta tears. No alcohol, no beer. Like Freddy, I'll kill you in your nightmares. Where the cash at, where the stash at. We won't find where the girl's at. She's in the strip on the floor like the doorman. Break your breakfast from the sky, cause she know you whack. Cold dogs, that's when you thinking of a rap. This ain't fiction, when you thinking of a rap. 1 crib, 2 trips, 3 trips, 4. Cold dog, nigga, 6 bloods on the floor. 1 trip, 2 trips, 3 trips, 4. Cold dog, nigga, 6 bloods on the floor. Oh yeah. 1 knock, 2 knock, 3 knock, 4. No, I said so coming in tough. 1 knock, 2 knock, 3 knock, 4. Open that skin, coming in tough. 1 knock, 2 knock, 3 knock, 4. No, I said so coming in tough.
I get 25 cents back if I bring the bag back.
No matter what, better win over the door. Yes, picking on the light for the door. That's a show, cause we know what you got.
I'm totally talking
money's in
shit,
the box, so I'm picking on the light, coming to the door, blasting. Shoot no move, nothing in the ass. 1 bad move, then you get your ass kicked. Yo, I'm not in the mood, so the peach gas. You see the eyes of a wolf, and I hope you see it. Cold goes around, so your ass is frozen. Wolf, motherfucker, ain't about to get defeated. Not bad, too bad, you the one who chose it.
Oh, I have to get up anyway.
Give no options, not more made for a man on a mission. It's not a good dream, but a bad situation. More like a nightmare, you a hard victim. 1 knock, 2 knock, 3 knock, 4. No, upstairs, so I'm coming in tough. 1 knock, 2 knock, 3 knock, 4. Open the sleeves, I'm coming in tough. 1 knock, 2 knock, 3 knock, 4. No, upstairs, so I'm coming in tough. 1 knock, 2 knock, 3 knock, 4. Open the sleeves, I'm coming in tough.
Alright, we'll go for this one now. I should take a picture before while it's still the full fucking light. The pictures don't come out right. Actually, in the weed pictures in here, they do. Some of these shots don't come out. They just big, huge photos, but they suck.
Since you little bitch ass down, nigga.
Raise this thing.
Can't spell ball without the AR. Vote me for mayor. Taking helicopters down with a little laser. And the cannon I'm holding bigger than fucking mega. Yaga, the liquor for the shots will make you stagger. For my little brother, it's like he loves my partners. Real bad boy, baby, y'all bosses. But this empire, it's nothing like Rogers. These are enemy lines, nobody can cross it. I just get the rappers and in the battle with parts of the strip of tits. Full clips like a bitch's wig fiction. Murder gang sick shit. Got me reading the words as of my victim lip syncs. Kitchen sink murders. Niggas know I'm running through the streets of beef. Like the hamburger with the burner. No food surfing. Yeah, still M3G repping. Yeah, sitting in the vehicle. Plotting on people. Taking your breath possession. Like a reaper. Kneeling with the hammer. Call it Tim Tebow. Holding on the hammer. Call it Home Depot. Everything I'm doing is illegal. Everything I'm doing is illegal. Kneeling with the hammer. Call it Tim Tebow. Holding on the hammer. Call it Home Depot. I'm at the bar ordering a Heineken. Waiting for the scene to fall me back. I was timing him. Fronting him a double shut up. Check me run 9 and 10. MGK and Wild Boy. Nigga, we some wild men. About to get alive again. Rifles like the Irishman. Used to call me Ben Shredder, but Charlie was a rider man. Nigga try to end me for the money. Call a fireman and put my fucking flame up. Go ahead and try it then. By all means, do you. I'm creeping through the field shop of Zulu. Cruising in the Subaru. Murder gang, crow, punch dogs and get for bobos. You lose. Tell you what, kind of like 2 shoes. Listen, Junior receives to the higher shooters to whack you. Right now, I'd rather smack you. Don't even attempt, I won't gap you. Really, I don't have to. Slap the kid so hard, I'll put a wonder, call him Matthew. Subliminal. Murder gang squad in the fact I said
I got another fucking bill with 666 on it.
You ain't down yet. That judge ain't fired yet. By the end of this chapter, motherfucker buying it. That bitch don't
I should have set him outside.
Catch a couple cases, but I'll beat him if I'm hiding it. In the L spot, nigga known for the kill shot. Cause I'm the nigga that shot Jack and chill out the hilltop. Too. Lil Red Rider Hood was Rider Hood. The song blew her up now. She ain't riding through the hood at all. And Woody Woodpecker was a fag while Batman got shots and panties up for his pants. He was a swimmer. Wolverine's a nigga that's obvious, so they ain't gotta mention Master Splinter. Well, I Master Shredder in my mask, my death roll blast and cheddar. Trying to make out is better. Yeah, I'm sitting in the vehicle, people. Taking your proud possession like a reaper. Kneeling with the hammer. Call it Tim Tebow. Holding on the hammer. Call it Home Depot.
We didn't have these, we had April.
Everything I'm doing is illegal. Everything I'm doing is illegal. Kneeling with the hammer. Call it Tim Tebow. Holding on the hammer. Call it Home Depot.
So I'm supposed to give an opinion or something about these blockades, right? I don't give a fuck. What do I care about trains? Everything I buy comes from fucking Toronto. You think I'm fucking joking? If it doesn't come from Toronto, I don't fucking want it. You see me wearing, using anything that came from outside Toronto because I can't get it in. You make cars here, motherfucker. You know what we make here? The fucking Charger.
Flyest nigga since kindergarten. Flyest. Shoe stupid kicks been retarded. I make the coke black when I'm in the market. I make the price drop like I'm in the Target. I'm like a holy prophet trying to make a profit. Rough Rider, legendary prospect. I ain't where I'm yet. Shout out my gunman, friend, yo. 10-4-5s in my extender. 2 extra clips for the extra shit. They each hold 7, you get
the extra shit.
Yeah, I got so much beef, my ex was stressed with it. Right, it was eye for an eye. Old Testament word. The bottom of wells, my heart dwells. Treating these waters like shark tails. Word. My homie got lashed, was all bail. I had waved the shit. Got tobacco with full bail. The rats used to see me on range and go tell. Catch him at court, stopping with Jordans like Montel. Swear to God, I would never pray to Jesus. For the extras, I'ma scrape the beaker. Every day I pay for new AKs, like Pablo. Every day I pay for new AKs, El Chapo. Every day I pay for new AKs, like Pablo. Every day I pay for new AKs, El Chapo. Every day I pay for new AKs, like Pablo. Every day I pay for new AKs, El Chapo. Every day I pay for new AKs. Pablo. Every day I pray for new AK. Look,
The hottest kid in the kitchen, I've been nice. Thoughts of you double crossing me, think twice. Gold chains, gold in my mouth, case full of ammunition. Cocaine to my nosebleed, that's a Kathy Griffin. Bullets light up the night sky and they blame me, boy. Magnums in the back of the whip, they call me baby boy. My ATL sending your section 80, boy. The fuck do you think the mafia pay me for? Young, rich, and handsome, bullets like an anthem.
I'm
When they
all
started
broken,
singing,
ugly.
everybody
You don't
put
wanna
their hands
fuck
up.
with me.
Ain't nobody
I'm
been
drugs,
doing the
still
shit that I
singing.
do. Dark boy, how many hoes can I fit inside you? Scratched up with lines around them like the kids of I know. Put up with the Mac and fry them like this shit's a drive-thru. Angels will find you, but I would never pray to Jesus. For the extras, I'ma scrape the
Well, they don't
beat.
tell you about gun violence. These guns are expensive. Even in the U.S., these guns would be expensive.
I'm Chapo. Every day I pray for new AKs. That's Pablo. Every day I pray for new AKs. El Chapo.
Go get yourself a freaking custom 1911 or a Glock 17 with an auto sear. Tell me it's cheap and easy to get. You don't mention that. All these cars they keep finding abandoned in weird accidents and fires and shit. They're like BMWs and shit, right? Not like fucking Ford Escorts. It's not like somebody's got 6 of them and they're just playing a game. Yeah, they're gonna ban assault rifles with everything that's happened in the city's handguns. Nobody's walking around with a fucking assault rifle, right? Like, wow, some guys, oh, they're fucking pistols now. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna ban assault rifles. What about AK pistols? Does that slip through? Dickhead!
We all trying to score.
Let's do that already.
Strap out of 10. I'm seeing it from 4. I ain't got to slide off the rack, pull over real quick, I'ma hop out the whip. Juice down street on free, R15, got 50 in the clip. Can't run from this. Ain't no kicking and shoot through bricks. Pour off the glass, I'm dunking shit. Gloves full fat with the rubber grill. Real creeps don't leave no clue. Throwing nights with crews. The dick you stiff don't move. Flex, I spit that hey, cruising down the street with my AR. Strapped in the whip. We all trying to score. Better get low, cause we flip cars. Ride behind the 10. We seen it from 4. Cruising down the street with my AR. Strapped in the whip. We all trying to score. Better get low, cause these hit hard. Strap behind the 10. We seen it from 4. No trap backs when I come through. Them niggas know how bees do. All they heard was some loud shots when the cops came, gave no clues. I put in work with that Smith & Wesson, I put in work with that top too. AK like Bruce Lee, got kicked back, no kung fu. A young nigga with a lot of cash, I fuck this bitch and passed her to the class. He mad, he has a pound, so we cannot decide. No conversation in my Jason mask. Hey, cruising down the street with my AR. Strapped in the whip. We all trying to score. Better get low, cause we flip cars. Ride behind the 10. We seen it from 4. Cruising down the street with my AR. Strapped in the whip. We all trying to score. Better get low, cause these hit hard. Strap behind the 10. We seen it from 4.
I'm in these bricks, cruising my shit. I feel like the shit. Money ain't shit. The bitch ain't shit. I'm trying to get rich. Shooting ARs, ain't shooting out of cars. Pop out when I blitz. Me and bro don't mix. A brick for the kicks, ain't selling no next. I feel my thoughts to the odds I got. Spin these bands at the mall in a lot. Get it for a low, we try and get a lot. Young boss, they go to school, not top. They ain't crazy, I'm gonna see real. Ain't changed, never talk, ever real. Sitting there trying to get a couple meals. I'll hit the trap, might take no pills.
Cruising down the street with my AR. Strapped in the whip. We all trying to score. Better get low, cause we flip cars.
Right on the 10. We're saying it for 4. Moving down the street, relax and off. Straps in the whip. We all trying to score. Spin, low, dig, hit, pause. Right on the 10. We're saying it for 4. Cut for no sandals. Get this man over. Vandal come through 4 niggas like Rambo. Mando. Pop up with the mop. I slide on the Vandal. That's not me, Camo. Ego Sandal.
680 News Time, 12:56. Now time for your business report. Good morning, Carl.
What the
Garnish.
fuck happened
After
yesterday?
the Dow and S&P logged their biggest point drop in history Thursday due to coronavirus fears, a
Bull.
number of analysts are trying to determine what's next. Something
These
that attention
people with
could
money
turn
are
to
not
central
afraid
banks,
of coronavirus.
as a number
They're
of them
not
have
selling
said
what
that
they
would do
own
what they can
because
to
of
support the global
coronavirus.
economy. Reports
They're
also say
buying.
the situation is increasing the chances of an interest rate cut from the U.S. Fed in the future.
Because
Wall Street finished
every
in
time I look at my
correction
credit
territory. All
card
three US
statement, I
benchmarks lower
think,
by more than
what's the
4.4%.
Fed doing right
It was
now?
a 6-day slide for the Dow and S&P. Dow plunging 1,190 points, 25,766, losing more than 3,200 points this week. S&P lower by 137 points, 2,978. Nasdaq fell by 414 points, 8,566. A technical issue cut the TSX's trading day short. It was left down by 1.9% or 324 points, 16,717. It's now time for the Express Gold Refining XAU.ca gold price update. It lost 60 cents, finishing at 1,642, a 3-day slide. A 5-day slide for oil remaining at its lowest level in more than a year. It dropped by 3.4%, closing at $47.09 a barrel. Canadian crude index was down 3% to finish
I already
around
found one
$33 a
seed,
barrel.
so my head,
Canadian dollar
1,000
lost
pounds
34 100ths of a
on
cent,
that
closing at
$10 purchase.
74.66 cents US.
Come on, with 1,000 pounds of weed with that seed.
Quarter GDP data for
Tommy
Canada,
Chong
as
said
well as
so.
U.S. personal income and consumption for January. Earnings are also expected from SNC Lavalin, Laurentian Bank, and Onyx. Bloomberg's Larry Kofsky has more on what
SNC
we're watching.
Lavalin.
A flagship technology event has fallen victim to the coronavirus. Facebook has canceled its annual F8 developer conference for this year.
I didn't know
Also
you
canceled
had a
this
fucking
year's the
annual
Geneva Watch
conference.
Show.
I'm on Facebook all
Watchmakers
the
are bracing
fucking
for a
time,
drop in
bitching
sales.
about your fucking
Chinese
coders.
consumers buy
You never
almost
told me to one
everything.
place at one time.
Larry Kofsky, Bloomberg Radio.
At the Business Center, I'm Carl Garnish.
Being right matters.
That's all you got for me,
Weather
man.
forecast is off by more than 3 degrees.
You could win cash.
Details at 680news.com.
Catholic teachers are fighting to preserve one of the best education systems in the world. We want to give every student a chance to succeed. The Ford government is overcrowding classrooms and destroying opportunities for students. We need to stop them before it gets worse. Critical thinking is one of the most important skills we teach. How to separate fact from spin. Don't fall for this government's misinformation. No more. Visit knowmore.ca to help us reverse the cuts. A message from the Ontario English Catholic Teachers Association.
Put us on and find out what to wear. The best weather reports in the
Oh,
city
yeah.
every 10 minutes on 680
Minus
News.
12 or whatever the fuck. It's 80 kilometer hour winds. It's
Your
no
insurer
joke.
advises that your depression is not serious and denies your claim. What are you going to do? Who can you
But I
call?
own 2
Call me,
jackets.
Aaron Waxman. At
Oh yeah, I know. You're looking up and down the street for the guy in the ripped up jacket.
Don't worry
You're
about
going
upfront
to
legal
bummy
fees,
ass.
because
Oh, that's
there are
not what I
none.
was wearing.
At my law firm, my team of lawyers
I
only
was.
get paid when you get paid. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878 or on your cell phone at pound LTD.
Alexa, what station has the best
See,
breaking
all this
news
bullshit
traffic?
about area code banging and
680
everything.
News, obviously.
We started going by the area code because
And
we
it
started
is now
having to
time for
fucking
your
dial the
regional
fucking area
weather
code first.
conditions.
Fuck all
Pretty
you
much
fucking
it is,
poser ass motherfuckers.
partly cloudy
10
sky
digit
across the
dialing.
board
Fuck
right
you.
now. In Caledon, it's -5. In Markham, -4. And in Kitchener, we're seeing it's -2 with some possible flurries. Right now in downtown Toronto, -5. It feels like -15 with the wind. And we're under a partly cloudy sky with a special weather statement in effect. 680 News
Sammy,
is CFTRA.
am I gonna
at
get an
Toronto.
alert
You can
on my
listen
phone?
3, 4, 5 times a day, and you'll always be in the know. At the sound of the tone, 680 News Time, 1 o'clock.
What about that tone? What does that one mean?
Traffic and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto. Good morning. This is Friday, February the 28th. I'm Tim Chapman.
And I'm Carlin Donahue. Here's what's making news this hour.
A dangerous morning on the roads throughout the GTA as gusts of wind and snow squalls compromise drivers' visibility.
Health officials in Quebec are reporting the province's first presumptive case of coronavirus. Here in Ontario, the husband of a COVID-19 patient in Toronto has tested positive for the illness. Another day of rolling education strikes continue across the province, and more are on the docket for next week.
5,000 outside workers move into a strike position if no deal is reached with the City of Toronto in less than 24 hours.
Willie with the winner as the Leafs put away the Panthers to sweep their trip to the Sunshine State. Hyunjin Ryu strikes out 2 in his Jays debut, and Norm nears a Raptors return. Sports at 15.
Economists and the Bank of Canada are preparing for Canadian GDP data today. The TSX is preparing to begin trading after a shortened session as the Dow and S&P come off their biggest point drops ever.
680 News Time 101.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Zach Bodenstein.
Well, some good news as that issue on the West 401 at Huron Ontario collectors cleared. So at this point, it's just construction.
It's the top of the hour,
on
buddy.
major routes. South Huron Ontario
I don't know what you're talking about.
One's closed off. We have the West 401 ramps to and from Mavis shut down, and it's only a left lane getting through at Mavis. Eastbound 401 in Scarborough, Meadowvale collectors, 3 left lanes are blocked off. We're also looking at the transfer lanes to the Express at Port Union shut down, and the right lane blocked at Thixon. That ramp to Thixon is also closed off. 400 DVP 404. QE Gardner, for the most part, they're up to speed. Some construction East QE, though, at Royal Windsor. 2 left lanes are blocked. Also, westbound QEW, 2 left lanes blocked at Ford Drive. Your next report's at 1:11 with the forecast. We'll check in with Michelle Mackey.
Well, we've seen some special weather statements for the City of Toronto for strong winds tonight, gusting to 70 kilometers an hour out of the west. That is bringing us a bitter wind chill.
Out of the west, it's going a damn circle. You could go into a fucking doorway and the wind will go in a circle around you in the fucking doorway.
The wind, it will still be pretty strong. Today's
Yeah,
high,
fuck
-4.
you.
Downtown Toronto
It's
is
ugly
-5 right now, but it feels like -15 with the wind, and we're under a partly cloudy sky over at Toronto Pearson, -6, feeling like -13. 680 News Time 102.
A special weather statement's in effect for Toronto, while parts of the GTA
a real
remain under a
-15
special
don't
weather
feel like
advisory warning of snow squalls.
680's Meg Black is on the weather watch.
And all that snowfall combined with high winds means snow squalls, posing serious issues on the roads, making for difficult, if not dangerous, travel. 680's meteorologist Carl Lamb says these systems are expected to continue.
Snow day for the country?
Snow just yet. As we head into Friday morning, we could see our first snow squall develop for areas just east of the city, and that includes areas like Markham, Unionville, over toward Pickering and Ajax.
And safety first on the roads.
There's no lane markings. 5-lane roads become 3 lanes with no markings. You just sort of follow the guy ahead of you
Obviously, we want to make sure
until he swerves, and then you almost follow him swerve because you're like locked on taillights.
You need to slow down before you get into that area of reduced visibility and be prepared to stop if necessary.
And OPP asking if you can stay home
Slow
and avoid the
down
roads.
before you get
And
to
while this
where
cold
you need
weather
to slow
system
down.
continues to swell over the GTA, our traffic reporter Zach Bodenstein has his eye on your drive. We now go live for an update from the 680 News Traffic Center. Zach?
Yeah, Timmy, not too bad closer to the city. Your concerns are certainly up north, so around Newmarket, Aurora, even past that as you head into Barrie and Cottage Country, things get extremely tough. Some whiteout conditions through here, so roads certainly not ideal. This doesn't just include the highways, of course. Check your city streets, your side streets through there. It's going to be extremely tough, even in the east end, so anywhere on the 35-115 north of Kirby, you're going to find things extremely treacherous into Peterborough. Back to you.
Treachery!
Thank you, Zach. Well, right now, Quebec health officials are reporting the province's first presumptive case of the new coronavirus. The patient is a woman from Montreal who has recently been in Iran. Here in Ontario, a man in his 60s has the 6th case of COVID-19. He's the husband of the province's 5th case. She had also recently returned from a trip to Iran. Here's 680's
And they both went home and they're living happily ever after.
Dr. Eileen
All the
Deville
Jehovah's
says the latest
Witnesses
case
and
of
delivery guys
COVID-19 is
had no
currently at home
idea.
in self-isolation. The only symptoms he had were a mild cough and a self-reported fever.
This person is the household contact of our most recently confirmed case of COVID-19 and is doing well at home.
The latest coronavirus case in Toronto brings the total in Ontario to 6. Despite 6 confirmed cases, Dr. David Williams, Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health, says the risk to Ontarians is low.
The containment aspect is still...
All these people live here, right? Like, they didn't come from somewhere. They live here.
Themselves informed by relying on credible sources of information like Toronto Public Health. I'm Phil Martino.
Meanwhile, the Dow Jones Industrial Average sank nearly 1,200 points to deepen a week-long global market rout caused by worries about the coronavirus. Equity specialist Susan Schmidt of Aviva Investors says the market is skittish because there's no timeline to anticipate how much damage the outbreak will have on the global economy.
We're seeing an increasing sense of anxiety among the investor base, as no one can anticipate how long this will impact companies and what it is going to do to operating profits overall. That's where we're seeing extra concern.
The viral outbreak began in China, but has spread to Canada and dozens of other countries in Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. It's infected more than 82,000 people and killed more than 2,700.
In alphabetical
this is
order.
All News Radio 680
Asia,
News and 106.
Europe,
Ontario's 45,000 Catholic elementary and high school teachers are set to hit the picket lines next week. The Ontario English Catholic Teachers Association has announced it will stage a province-wide walkout on March 5th. Next Thursday's strike will mark the 4th province-wide walkout for the union. The union had previously suspended rotating strikes as a sign of good faith when negotiations with the government resumed last week, but those talks broke off without a deal. Meantime, high school teachers are walking out in several boards today, including Hamilton and Durham.
And the city of Toronto dealing with a different type of strike. People in the city could be without garbage pickup, park maintenance, and a number of other services.
Where do you think the garbage is going to go?
416 and the city of Toronto are working to reach an agreement before a looming strike deadline. The two parties have been in collective bargaining since September until Saturday at midnight to
pain condition called suicide disease, and I'm a child witness to suicide.
Including garbage crews,
I needed a fucking bullshit name for
680 News Time 107. It's another day of meetings between the Wet'suwet'en Hereditary
Vanden
Chiefs and the
Kirchhoff is
federal
no good
government
for
and BC Indigenous Relations
what's your channel? Vanden Kirchhoff.
The group met yesterday despite a last-minute cancellation. Provincial and federal officials were left with positive feelings after the meeting, calling it productive and respectful. About a dozen supporters of the Coastal GasLink pipeline gathered outside where the talks were being held in Smithers, BC.
This is 680 News. It's a story made for Hollywood. But first, its legacy will live on through the Hockey Hall of Fame. Sportsnet 590 The Fan's Asher Roth has the details on a bittersweet hockey hero. Well, just in case you forgot.
Just in case. I have used Justin other. Just in case. Good. The volume's too good. I don't
driver David Ayres has since become an overnight sensation. I don't think I can finish the monologue. Don't worry, Steven. I got you. Well, just to remind the hockey world of what could be the most embarrassing moment in franchise history, that stick that Ayres used in the game is going to be put on display at the Hockey Hall of Fame this morning. The Whitby native became the first emergency backup to win an NHL game when he helped the Hurricanes beat the Leafs on Saturday. And he's now the oldest goalie to win a game in their first NHL appearance. Now, the Leafs have won both games since that fateful night, but make no mistake, this will haunt their fans for a long time. The stick goes on display at 11 o'clock. I'm Asher Roth.
This is All News Radio 680 News. It's been a chilly weekend, but if you're brave enough, you'll be able to explore Toronto on 2 wheels. Bike Share Toronto offers unlimited 30-minute station-to-station trips for the grand total of $0. The promotion runs both Saturday and Sunday. All you need is to download the Cycle Finder app and Find your bike station and unlock the bike you want.
So to come on 680 News, traffic and weather together on the ones. But first, we'll check on the price at the pumps. 680 News Time 109.
This is 680 News.
Dominic Grimucci. Next time you order, try our charcoal and
supposed to have the music already. I gotta go fucking find this story now.
Your pizza experience. It may just become your new go-to favorite. Think Italian and taste the difference.
Now the 680 News gas price update. Enbro says the price dropped 3 cents at midnight to $1.10.9 a liter at most GTA stations. 680 News Time 110.
Hi, I'm Ivanka Osmak from Sportsnet.
So on top
With a
of
job
all the
that starts
strikes,
late,
they're
a
changing the
3-year-old
start
that
and end
starts
times at
early, and a new
131
baby on the
schools.
way. Getting a great night's sleep was a challenge, to say the least. I love my sleep and I needed help. So I reached out to the sleep experts at Sleep Country. They were awesome. The first thing they did was fit me with the right pillow for my unique sleeping style. I thought all pillows were the same, but after I tested a few, they matched me with the BioSoy pillow, and I've never looked back. It features high-density memory foam that...
I was only talking because you chatted. I was trying to hear this fucking story. But some of them... Oh, they're going back today. Okay, they're not done yet. Productive talks, and we're continuing tomorrow. Go fuck yourself, bitch. We don't want to jeopardize anything. I do. We had a productive day today, and we're hoping for a very solid day tomorrow, too. Me too. Bennett said it was a very good start. I don't give a fuck. Oh, Eunice Stoughton. Freda Hewson, a spokeswoman for the Eunice Stoughton camp that has been set up near the pipeline worksite, said the meeting... I don't give a fuck about... What the fuck do you think a text page is going to do to my fucking phone? What did I just continue? Motherfucker, how the fuck? This is what... How did the fuck continue? Something about Eunice Stoughton. I don't know. They don't want me to read it, I guess. Get the fuck out of here. Motherfucker. I'm gonna fix this right now. Turn that off. Try this one more time. I was just fucking looking at it. Damn it. Oh, there's me. I guess I can't play music while I'm reading, can I? Yeah, ministers wrap pipeline talks with hereditary chiefs for the day in D.C. You start off making it sound like you finished, but you not finished at all. Okay. Freda Hewson, spokeswoman for the Eunice Stoughton camp that has been set up near the pipeline worksite, said the meeting Thursday only covered introductions and the mood was respectful. Oh, only covered introductions. I haven't met any of you yet. I don't recognize any of you. BC, British Columbia. But there's Indians there that ain't met white people yet. How the fuck are you going to claim that is yours? She said she will not attend on Friday because the meeting will only involve the head chiefs and government officials. Oh. I'm not represented there. I'm not represented there at all. So your injunctions don't apply to me. Hereditary Chief Namox left without making a statement. Oh, that's a good idea. Before that's... the fuck could you say about any of this? Before the meeting began, both the RCMP and Coastal GasLink said they agreed to conditions requested by the chiefs to allow the discussions to progress. Yeah, showing up now acting like tough guys would not be smart. I know you're big, tough steam fitters, pipe fitters, you're welders, you're fucking plumbers. You could build toilets and shit. That's what you could do. Ironically, you probably couldn't afford to live in a toilet factory across the street. Standard lofts, American Standard. Yeah. The natural gas company agreed to a 2-day pause in its activities in northwestern BC, while the RCMP committed to ending patrols along a critical roadway while the negotiations unfold. So why don't you stay the fuck off that road? What are you even doing there? The chiefs, like, you're there for what reason? You're not prosecuting any of these fucking white guys for the crimes they commit. I get attacked here in the city. You think they don't do it when they think there's nobody out there? I catch up to these motherfuckers sooner or later. You're a what? You work in what field? That's interesting, buddy. Yeah, my cousin does that out there. Yeah, he's working up at blah, 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 blah. Come on, let's go somewhere. Blah, blah, blah. I catch up with everybody. The Chiefs praised the moves in a statement released before the talks got underway. Wow. We believe these conditions provide the space we need to be able to sit down at the table in good faith and a positive path forward. Yeah, please don't break into my house while I come to your house to meet with you. You fucking pieces of shit. We are so close and have called on the provincial and federal governments to support this de-escalation of activities so that this issue can be resolved. The chief said the meeting with B and F is a first step, noting both Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and BC Premier John Horgan, who the fuck are you? Declined invitations to discuss the long simmering issues that have gained fresh urgency in recent weeks. The Chiefs' opposition to a natural gas pipeline cutting across their traditional territory, coupled with their efforts to limit police presence on their lands. Why are the RCMP there? We have tribal police doing that. Have sparked shows of support across the country that have halted rail service for the past 3 weeks. 3 weeks passes so fast. So fast. That's like dead time, buddy. Could protect mine. NTO detect 9. We don't give a fuck about jail. We'll do the dead time. Bennett said she hoped the meetings would pave the way to end the dispute and protests. Yeah, but Bennett is, so which one's the fucking, I don't care where you're from. Obviously, this is very important, she said, moments after arriving in Smithers. I don't know if that's a restaurant name or a city name. We reaffirm our interest in talking to the Wet'suwet'en Nation. Oh, the Wet'suwet'en Nation and their issues of title and rights. Their issues of title and rights. You didn't talk to these people until like 1880. They did not speak to these people till 1880. Some shit like that. About putting government shit in and shit. Oregon City has met with the hereditary leaders. That's why they listen to people like us. Because we've been dealing with them for 500 years. You're not fooling nobody. None of you are fooling nobody. Oregon City has met with the hereditary leaders twice over the past year and a half. Wow, twice in 18 months. Go to court more often than that. And is prepared to sit down with them again. You're prepared to. Why aren't you there now? Can't you just get driven over there and talk to these motherfuckers? What the fuck is wrong with you? It's so important. It's so important that this goes through, but I can't show up. Prepared to sit down with them again, but there need to be conditions for constructive dialogue. Yeah, our conditions, motherfucker. You don't get to set conditions. It's not to you to tell us what to do on our land. Period. It's not happening. It won't fucking happen. Fraser, it says Fraser understands the community's government issues. I don't think you do. You sound pretty white. And Bennett represents the Crown in Canada, so he said. Where the fuck are the quote marks on that? What the fuck? Quote, there's quote marks here. Quote, I think that this is a good step. I've been seeking peaceful dialogue for a couple of weeks. Oh, wow. And here we are, he said. I'm looking forward to harmony as a result of those discussions. So 3 weeks, 2 weeks. Indigenous Services Minister Mark Miller said the meeting, the fuck is Indigenous Services? This is DINAC? You're not providing us services. You hold trusteeship over our bank accounts. That's it. We pay cash for education, water, electricity, everything, health, everything. And for some reason, we pay for these people to have jobs too. I don't understand that. Why are we financing DINAC? Indigenous Services Minister Mark Miller said the meeting was a victory for open dialogue. I don't know what that means. And peaceful resolution. Don't know what that means. It ain't resolved. You didn't reconcile. But it is only the beginning. as there are underlying rights and title issues that will take time to resolve. No, they won't. You can get the fuck off the land or we'll bury you there. Where we find you, we're going to leave you. The Italians brought something interesting to Canada. Where we find you, we're going to leave you. I love that line. I love that line. Nobody going to hear you screaming them woods, bro. You think I'm worried about walking through the woods and beaches? I've been there. Try Maine. That's where we're from. It's scary there. Fucking, if I go out there now, you're not gonna find me. I'll find you, but you won't find me. Ain't nothing gonna stop me in them woods. I've been out there. Way out there. I know. Wet'suwet'en community members. That's what they call gang members. We're community members. You think I don't know that? You think you're being fucking diplomatic calling us community members? We're nationals, right? Well, they're national. They're Wet'suwet'en nationals. Community members are divided on the pipeline. No, they're not. And about a dozen supporters of the project gathered outside the office of the West. Wow, 12. That's how many jobs are being created by the pipeline. 19 jobs or some shit like that for the entire fucking pipeline. And about a dozen supporters of the project gathered outside the office of the Wet'suwet'en while the meeting took place. Bonnie George, a former Coastal GasLink employee who describes herself as a Wet'suwet'en matriarch, handed out a statement that she attributed to the Wet'suwet'en people. What? What? Quote, the public attention brought to our community is having a negative effect on our people and eroding our traditional ways. The public attention brought to your community. Are you fucking retarded? George said, reading from the statement. How'd you get the name George way up there? You're a different type of native. You're not from there, I'm sure of it. Hereditary chiefs are not decision makers on their own, excuse me, and neither are fucking elected chiefs, and are instead meant to reflect the consensus of their clan or house and reach decisions together inside a traditional setting called a feast house, she said. Yeah, we've done that. George said she wasn't invited to the meeting. You're a Coastal GasLink employee. George said she wasn't invited to the meeting, but she went into the room with others and they made a statement telling the gathering that the entire nation needs to be represented. Get the fuck out. I'm stepping into your woods and telling you to get the fuck out of that fucking room. Who is this fucking woman? The dispute over the Coastal GasLink pipeline project has been raging for months, but entered a new phase on December 31st, 2019, when the BC Supreme Court granted the company an injunction calling for the removal of any obstructions from any roads, bridges, or work sites it has been authorized to use in Wet'suwet'en territory. You haven't been authorized to use anything, so any obstructions. An injunction calling for the removal of any obstructions. Who pays for that? The RCMP moved in to enforce that injunction on February 6th. You got to be like Dutch people and just all disappear at that point. Hours later, protesters started holding up railway traffic outside of Belleville, Ontario, in solidarity with the Wet'suwet'en hereditary chiefs, thwarting freight and passenger rail travel. In Ottawa, one Conservative MP questioned Thursday whether the blockades constitute acts of terrorism. No, they don't, stupid. Terrorism involves destroying stuff and hurting people, you fucking retard. Doug Shipley put the question to Public Safety Minister Bill Blair, Toronto Police Chief Bill Blair, you moron, during testimony at the House of Commons Public Safety and National Security Committee. The rookie MP said he was asking on behalf of a constituent, sure you did, who sent him an email after a handful of protesters in the Belleville area lit fires near and on railway tracks the day before, actions that were denounced by Trudeau. Yeah, fires are not going to hurt railroad tracks. Wood can't melt. You can't, a piece of wood burning next to a piece of metal, the steel's not going to fucking just fall apart. That's not how that works. And all the ties are coated in creosote, you fucking moron. I know, because they stack this shit up in the poor neighborhoods. Fucking trainloads of fucking creosote-soaked timber, and the fumes coming off it are disgusting. They only do it in poor neighborhoods. They don't do it out in the East End next to Yuppieville. Quote, this resident wanted to know if the current illegal blockades that are happening across Canada are being deemed as a terrorist activity. You're fucking stupid. You can all get off the fucking land, stupid. Shipley asked. Blair said they were not, adding the government should not interfere with the police's ability to identify and investigate criminal activity in their jurisdiction. Yeah, it's a different thing. It's a totally different thing. You asked a fucking politician about the law. You're fucking retarded. Why didn't you ask a lawyer? It's very appropriate that I be careful in doing that because I do not want to interfere with the operational independence of both the police and our prosecutors, he said. Really? But at the same time, that was terribly unsafe, deeply concerning. Lake Megantic, motherfucker. RCMP Commissioner Brenda Lucki testified at the same committee hearing, saying the Mounties have discretion on how to enforce an injunction. Of course, enforcement is the last option, she said. It's about dialogue and trying to find a peaceful resolution to the blockades. Get off the fucking land. You won't notice the blockade if you leave, stupid. All you RCMP people, what are you going to fucking do when shit goes apeshit down here? They're going to have you down here, stupid. We're federal, stupid. They're going to have you down here. Your dumbasses are not going to be out there. Or you won't be here, and I'm going to do everything I want to do. It's warming up. You can smell things coming out of the ground and things. The Ontario Provincial Police took down a major blockade near Tyendinaga Mohawk territory earlier this week. But about 20 demonstrated, they got punched in the face and shit, didn't they? But about 20 demonstrated gathered near train tracks in Kingston, Ontario, farther east along the same line on Thursday morning. Local police said the group gathered on the Canadian National Railway Company overpass, but train traffic had not been affected and officers were monitoring the situation. Police in Victoria said 2 protesters were arrested for mischief after using a substance to write messages that included profanity on the building, driveway, and walkway of the BC legislature. Really? Did anybody get pictures of what they wrote? A substance. Is that sidewalk chalk? What's the timestamp on that? Wet'suwet'en, it says here that, but down here it says she's a Coastal GasLink employee. You look so fucking incredibly white. You look so British. I know British people because everything that comes out of those people is fucking bad for my people. Holy fuck, that was an article that was way too long. If the public attention brought to your community was having a negative effect on your people and eroding your traditional ways, somebody else would have said it. You should really shut your mouth. A former Coastal GasLink. See, they don't capitalize a former. They capitalize your name, a former. Not the words a former, but then Coastal GasLink is all capitalized. That's what you are. How the fuck did you get out there with the name George? Did you use that 33% via rail thing fraudulently or something? You're up to something. Reconciliation is dead. That's interesting. Premises protected 24-hour video surveillance. Where are you? At a fucking convenience store? Smithers, BC. I think the store is Smithers, BC. I can see graffiti in the background of this picture. I never thought about BC graffiti. Oh, fuck it, I'm not dealing with that right now. So, You've got injunctions, eh? You've got some scaredy cats up in your locals. Local operators. I'm a local operator. You're a local operator, eh? You're playing with toy trains, buddy. What do you do when you're coming around the corner and you just like hallucinate for a second that the track is gone and then it's there again and you fucking, what do you do, bro? You tell anybody? Doctor give you the methamphetamine, fucking benzodiazepine things people think they're buying off the street? Those are all counterfeit. That's why you're dying. Look at the form of the question. Yield suicide. It's not even a fucking full set. Yield suicide question mark. What? What is like? I don't know. What? Give me a situation.
Yeah, Jimmy Jones, forget your manhood, cooking. Put you on the back.
Heard you. Holy fuck, I didn't even notice that. Heard you. I can't heard you. I'm not criticizing people for spelling, but like seriously, you come at me with, I just started the fucking video about that.
Check, 1, 2. City natives in the building. You know. Mic check, 1, 2. Alright, let's get it. Yeah. Just play the drums and sample. I hop on the track, don't they kill the stage at every province that I'm at in. Don't you dare say my name, I'm probably gonna snap in. Leave your dad just like when your mommy's on the rag. I'm a zombie on the beat, walking with a swag, yelling louder than my team. Yo, we got this in the bag like the bomb sweet I smoke. I promise that it's dope, but if you take a hit, then you're probably gonna choke. Yo, I'm popping, I never pass to get a better blast. So tell beats and be not that they better match. Nah, I'm drinking, getting tipsy, and I don't even drink, but watch me get turned like the whole weekend straight. Got so much knowledge, but I won't teach it. So don't give me your advice, cause I don't need it. Got that money in the bank, I'm about mine. Keep my fam close, it's a cold world outside. I had to get some bad habits.
Okay, let's say you really thought someone was gonna kill themselves, and you click on it and you watch this. Am I doing anything to myself? I'm smoking a fucking joint. If anything, I'm talking to myself. And half the time, it's a language these people don't seem to understand.
Y'all know what we all about. Getting money, making these moves. I'm on the right route. 7 straight. Let me demonstrate how I murder it. The crime rate increases. Don't act like you ain't heard of it. I levitate mine for a living. I'm no magician, no. I take my thoughts to one another level. Demolition wow with a rebellious style. I say it loud. Word of my homie Buzz. I'm just an ill child. The enemy is the epitome of realness. I know you feel this. I'm just a boy, please.
When it comes to rapping, I'm a motherfucking mastermind. Pack a mask and knife. Time to put these pussy rappers in the afterlife. I get the spasm when I grab the mic. It's the rapping savage antichrist. The best rapper alive. The best rapper even after I die. From drinking and driving, hanging out in the passenger side. Well, bitches give me gas, I end up crashing my ride. My flow is nutty. I'm cold and hungry. My body is phony, nose is runny. I'm broken, bummy, you go get it with no sweater or coat. In cold weather, I'm dope. My flow's better than most. I'm so fed up with my better. The focus here forever. I hope you know better than the focus. So better and broken. More focus than I've ever been, yo. Let it be known I got the medicine to render than your head in the rope. I show no love, it's the funk soul brother. Got the flow so gutter, fucking hoes, no cover. Kill a newborn baby with a stone cold stunner. Time for war, tonight we down in hell. Grab a knife and fork, never would've thought that if I slice a whore down the spinal cord, to a vagina, chuck a tiny corpse inside the floor. That they would find it, now I gotta find a ride to the other side of the border. My mind has been out of order since I was not a resorted to doing crimes with the homies. Ever since the day decided to show me Yo, what's happening? I'm back again, this rapping shit is simple. Grab a pad, a pen, a pencil, rap about the shit you've been through. Get the stepping on an instrumental. Just imagine when you're
almost dying.
It's the last official savage on this planet that can spit the baddest damage. Slap you if you have an issue. Cast the casket past the pistol. And realize we'll have to get you. Promise I'm unstoppable. Fly, like a hippopotamus in the boss with an ostrich. On top of your mom with a soft dick. Not enough from other oxys and Dilaudid's in my pocket. I'm drop kicked in the jaw for talking the wrong shit. Bob with the bomb bitch. Rocking some Long Johns. I sawed off a cockpit. Ready to pop it off at your mom's kids. Pops bitch. Dogs, cousins, aunt, sis. If your uncle wanna rumble, put a couple in his cranium. All I'm saying is I'm trouble and I play to win. Ain't no way that you can take away the rage of me. So much anger, I'm impatient, going crazy then. I tell myself to stay in my lane and play the game. I'm breaking in and taking everything. And I ain't taking shit. I'm waiting for my Mercedes, 180 acres of blunt with a slut that made it. I'm up, but I'm underrated, you motherfuckers. Better run or I'm running over you. I'm fucking gonna make it, so.
Whoa, crazy. Whoa, that didn't happen though. Crazy. Dang. I was just taking that in, man.
De pak saffen met een zak kosten centen maandelijkse toeslagen voor iets dat kan niet betalen kan. Johan's dinero para vloes man, plata, Babylon brand in de ban van Satan. België, looks like a dog, talks like a dog, looks like a dog, so it must be a geiland. Panama Papers, F35's, premies, mandaten, allemaal zeker. Fraudeleuze vis en twisrij op de voedselbank, doodgevroren daklozen in de grote steden. Meer en meer belastingen dan een afschakelplan. Vastgoedmafia, de meeste raadsteden. Veel te veel zaad voor veel te weinig vetzakken. Veel te veel redenen voor veel te weinig protest. Loop ik met de kutten mee, terwijl ik met de kraan lopen. Kan niet langer verder zo, alles is te duur voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij. Je merkt het en niet alles is te duur voor mij. Ik ken niet met de rust voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij. Je merkt het en ik ken niet met de rust voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij. Adrenaline door mijn lijf, maak je geld voor de verwarming. Te veel stress door al die rekeningen waar dat ik op achterloop, niks te verdienen. Binnen in de schimmelwijk, La Belgique is te duur geworden. Alles wordt verwaarloosd, corrupte flikken, magistraten, politiekers, marginalen. Allemaal de schuld van het monetaire systeem. Kreml die praktijken, stijgende stroomvoorzieningsprijzen. Er valt hier niks te rapen, zolang je de liter niks niet afneemt. Koers kunnen pakken, gele groene bazen pakken. Nooit met schooien achter stappen, ook klein geld om op de bus te stappen. Homies vliegen in de bak, deurwaarders gaan husselen. Oog omhoog, tand om tand, kwaad naar de sukkelen. Duim dat kuil aan discuut pas, de koe en de couleur. Dus kijken door de keyhole van de glazen spiegeldeur. Slaak mijn eigen letten in, is omdat we kwaad worden. Iedereen rondom mij leidt, want alles is te duur voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij. Je merkt het en niet alles is te duur voor mij. Ik ken niet meer wat is voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij. Je merkt het en ik ken niet wat er is te doen. Alles is te duur voor mij. Me and my niggas, with the shit with some savages. Me and my nigga, stay with us some bad bitches. Always smoking on gas with us. All the babies don't pass with us. We ain't nothing like the other guys. Fuck with us, you went for a surprise. Smoking on medical, each individual. Bad bitches additional. Riding with us intentional. Just so you can see the visual. We get it to you, you run into my gang. All of the fucking shit. That shit will be claim space gang. That shit they don't fall. You don't fall. Watch us, and never
lurking in the streets. We be coming, nigga, it's in the prophecy. Straight gas, yeah, the cases are successful. Nigga, come and get some gas, straight loud, nigga, never mouth. Squad deep, you ain't seen, nigga, on the street, dripping, leaving booze. All over you, niggas slipping promo. I roll stuff like gas, they feel them and check my swag. Niggas are sick of me mad, but that's me back trying to give me a bag. Gang tight on my chest, BBS diamonds on my neck. Only real running through my flesh, nothing nail running up my chest. Don't want you, don't do it, if you with the movement, you know I'm in love with the mullah. Bad, talking about money and speaking the fluid, just listen to I'm on the studio. So get you a sack, don't cover the pack, flip it and double it back. Happy your flip, happy your stash, never should all your cash. Me and my niggas place, hold up smoking fire shit. Me and my nigga Cali, with the shit with some sense. Me and my nigga stay with us some bad bitches, always smoking on gas, but us roller papers don't pass. We ain't nothing like the mother guys. Fuck with us, you went for a surprise. We ain't nothing like the mother guys. Fuck with us, you went for a surprise. Smoking on medical, each individual hating us to get physical. Bad bitches additional, you can roll with us intentional. Just so you can see the visual, we get it to you, you run to my gang. All of the fucking shit, bitch, yeah, we claim space, gang. Bitch, it beat them all, kill them all. Watch us creep and never miss a beat. Lurking in the streets, we be coming, nigga, it's in the prophecy. You worried if you cut from the same cloth. You was playing Game Boy, niggas was playing Game Gods. Niggas melly rock on your block with the chain on. Just to get hit up, can't make it. Like Trayvon, just stay calm. Niggas got yay on, the stuff top. Metal like Cragons, turning them heat rays on. They paid on, debts and purchase more. Thought they only wanted 2 ounces to purchase for. You know we only wanted new houses that's on the shore. But my lawyer gotta study evidence in the court. 2-door sport in the coupe, playing these greasy loops. After every time I shoot, that ski mask turn to a talk. I'm still running that nation of domination for Rook. P89 and that barrel slide is too cute. Hit up in the dome when they try ducking. Still better than just standing there and trying nothing. Kill them little pups, I'm a G-Dog. I have him in the streets playing leapfrog. American muscle over a Tesla. Pulling up the bulldog apart like a Presla. Let me tell you how I feel. You niggas ain't real. That shot ate your food like a meal. Let me tell you how I feel. You niggas ain't real. That shot ate your food like a meal.
Hold on, let me get some pimpin'. Fuck you think you're doing that? I pull up in a Buick, blast this music. You know how we do it. Yeah. Like Montel Jordan and these Jordans. All these bitches are swarming. Still I ignore them. Yeah. Cause all these girls boring. Yeah. Anytime I come through, making girls get abortions. It's Charlie, you know me. Rolling in a Harley with Shorty.
I just hope you got the 40. 20 niggas in dark clothing, that's what we learned. Yeah. You should hear the arrogant names these niggas would call. Yeah. And that bitch was on call. Before Asian or Dream, we had a Apache dog. Fuck them up, middle fingers for law. Win with the blasted block, hopping out of a car. I was asking her what's up with the top. Passerby's ass police,
what's up with the sidewalk talk?
Another Friday, just another day. You acting like you ain't even know the world was underway. That's when we hit you from a blind side. Sitting in the jail and even thinking how the time flies. Let me tell you how I feel. You niggas ain't real. That shot ate your food like a meal. Let me tell you how I feel. You niggas ain't real. That shot ate your food like a meal. I know they thought they were finished, they came with 3 rounds. Straight up out of G-Town, trains going eastbound. They used to talk about all these niggas, they know it's me now. Package get caught supported, that's how we rebound. F4TG gets brony. AR Paisley, trade bars be the hardest up in these streets now. You best not trespass here, baby, just keep out. We ain't fucking around with the steering if we gon' wheel out. You ain't got the metaphor, nigga, that's when that skill out. Big clock, big shot, knocking all of your teeth out. Right now you know that y'all got heat. They got no parts, but all got beats. Trap music.
Oh, no. We're not doing this one right now. Motherfucker, I put that in there on my own fucking
Of a killer, the mind of a maniac, the mind of a lunatic, the mind of a native who ain't giving up, a native who don't give a fuck, a native with the Zulus, but they never fuck is true. I got the mind of a killer, the mind of a maniac, the mind of a lunatic, the mind of a native who ain't giving up, a native who don't give a fuck, a native with the Zulus, but they never fuck is true. I have a few scruples and most people don't. I'm a crazy little bastard, full-blown criminal, savage through and through. For my warrior, I have known the game that I was shown. I keep to my own. I got a ill temper and a very short fuse. The patience that I got, you don't want me to lose. I'm known to blow up. I'm known for destruction. I'm known for the wicked. The wickedness of fun from the blood in my veins. And the ways I'll never change. I'm slowly going insane. She keeps fucking with my brain. I'm lost in the soft scam. On my way out. I'm from a small town and we don't fuck around. You can hate all you want. Shit ain't don't stop, and I stomp up and down the block, we keep on romping, I'm romping and rolling and romping. This head boy hustle shit ain't nobody stopping. The mind of a killer, the mind of a maniac, the mind of a lunatic, the mind of a native who ain't giving up, a native who don't give a fuck, a native with the screws, but they never fucking screw. I got the mind of a killer, the mind of a maniac, the mind of a lunatic, the mind of a native who ain't giving up, a native who don't give a fuck, a native with the screws, but they never fucking screw.
Oh, that's not gonna help.
This is the least amount of problem we've encountered recording a song so far.
Coming out the wood, I'm a tough motherfucker. Slumming with the sword, I'm a rough motherfucker. They don't wanna catch me at my best, but at my worst. And that's exactly why I gotta put them in the dirt. You should see us go to work. Watch me hit them where it hurts. Watch me fucking hit them first. Watch me put them in the hearse. Drinking blood to quench my thirst. Catch a charge with their reverse. This who cheated kinda cursed. FTP across my shirt. Yeah, fuck the population. Fuck your life and occupation. I'ma watch you run away. It look like immigration.
Same grubby sweater since high school. Drugs out the vial, I'm vile, pull more screens and vials. Survival of the fittest, I'm a walking pandemic. Trying to take on me and do the jogging man with it. What's a champion scene without some sadness up in it? I know the world is ours, I'm just having a minute. Another dead man walking with a casket incentive. It's either a bucket or a habit I'm kicking. Conscience roll caller, is it cast in auditions? If you notice I ain't present, it's cause the past isn't finished.
Coming for the throat of anyone that is my enemy. Listen, little bitch, this is not what I pretend to be. Send an army, send your troops, send them in with camo suits. Come and catch me, meet me. Ward boy till my dying day. Ward boy till my dying day. Ward boy being sealed away. Ward boy after eradicate. I'm a fucking misfit with his fucking wrist slit. Hit you with my fist, bitch. Bring it red like Christmas. Death is on my wish list.
The headphones ain't tangled, then it's lost. Monk ass AirPods, if they ain't listening, it's their loss. No cat, no strings attached, fucking weird flaws. Down Jones crash, how we share flaws. Skip the empathy in my epitaph. Epithet, y'all my nemesis. Yeah, I said that with emphasis. Ain't no common ground or no common sense. Fuck your comments, that's the consequence when you on the fence. Killing will, all my head is feral. I can't call them off. I can't call it dog. Shit, I'm probably wrong. Stay lifted and twisted like a fucking polygon. If you feeling froggy, get knocked back to a polywall.
Sure, you'll see the black dove, so don't push no more. When it comes to push and shove, I'll put you through the floor. Someone come and catch some smoke. I swear you'll be the one that choke. When I'm fucking angry, bitch, I'ma wipe out all your hope. I'ma smoke your fucking dope, cut you up like cantaloupe, send you to the North Pole inside of an envelope. Bloody up my suits again. Demons always play pretend. Cut them up with just a got against me you cannot defend. Pain and fear you can't prevent. I'll make sure you feel suspense. Put you under the cement. Put you in the ground for talking down to a nihilist. Taking all these chemicals, I feel like I'm a scientist. Breaking my appliances, anger with the sciences. That is what my style is, and evil is my stylist.
How you smoking Percy's and Slip Jackson, the lighter thief. If you like the green shit, go full circle like a reef. Ain't it scary? Nixon, Katy Perry, favorite Jerry, aviary. Hello, watch me blow dead and buried. Revolutionary of the chicken berry. The pen should make the paper move, both are stationary. Can't sleep in my bed since you was up in it. Got me fucked up, choosing tough love for the cynic. Basic ass living for a heart that's acidic. How am I supposed to judge if everyone's a critic?
Times is hard, no doubt, different ways to struggle. No stranger to the racket, a failure to raise a hustle. Plus what? About $20 for a day's work. Out of luck, I turn a white tee into a gray shirt. Ain't no punk on me, maintain Hollywood respect. Do my thing, I get the look and shit. Got the good connect, no stranger to the snipe game. Cheeks taste like cigarettes. Put the butts on the ground that I ride. Used to filter in no sleep ever. Yeah, granted, that's only dead time. Personify the subway train. I'm the red line from Hollywood to Hershey. Hoods up, heads down, calling them a curse. Call it a conversion. If I only knew a camera who to follow me in person. No A&E, you wanna see, pay the fee. Get a job, can't say to me so angrily. I got one, you idiot. I work double shifts, y'all don't see the pain. And that's where the trouble is. Imagining that generation or X stab in the back. Dirty needles, good kids, hurting people. Mom didn't raise me like this. Wipe the hate from my lips. Blood and H in the mix. Drip all the way to my wrist. Yeah, I know what an atheist is. I live forever as a blood stain. My name will exist in this bathroom stall. How I last you all. Push the plunger. Catch tags and blast the wall. Hate to tell her I can go from here. Open clear. I see through the smoke and mirrors. I live harder on purpose to provoke my peers. My life is overrated, man. I've been a joke for years. It's overrated, man. I've been a joke for years. And I don't need to tell y'all the times it's hard. Hey, you don't need to tell me that I've been scarred. I'm not a fraud. Let me believe that I'm in charge. I got the keys and I'ma drive this car. Pain behind these bars. Need a minute, put my mind on pause. Hollywood, on my back, my feet will shine these stars. One hit, one fist, one more dime, a toss, spiking my wrist. Crucify me, climb the guy. Hey yo, good times, bad times. Hollywood sign, fat line. Step into the dawn to your flat line. I stick a bit with the chrome with a black nine. Skip roll, no place to call a home. If you lack spine, if you can win, yeah, you can roll. Yeah, that's fine. See these dudes forgot their PD rules. I read graffiti like news while I PT cruise. Lit the fuse, hit the pipe really like hitting snooze. I lit the fuse, hit the pipe really like hitting snooze. I never wanna wake up, perpetual insomniac. In retrospect, I guess it sounds better when I'm on the track. Need a storm at, I'm the drug court, almanac, white room, rose of black. I do all of that, hold me back, let me know though. This the no-dos, running from imaginary people, no logos. Flip the photos, hot boys, your sister photos. Mr. Monkey, water mesh with cocoa. Swift and fusely dish the logo. The spray and sunny shit, $60 here in the soul. Too quick, that's the money quick. Said come with this, yo, when's this guy leaving? I bounced from the telly quick, now I'm dry heaving. Still got the cash though, delivers my gate. Black gold, deliver my pain. My aim, don't remember my name. Yeah, the city is strange. Cast for all of the stones, cinders remain carved in all of the thrones. No judgment, can't trust my, so I catch a bus ride. 22 stolen swan time, but too much pride standing there on Julian. Family reunion, vanity had ruined the hook round, reaping two of them was all in a day's work. Simple soul sacrifice, no more pain, hurt, feel the soul, cast the dice, burn both ends. I gotta light this candle. I learned from old friends that my life's a gamble. Yeah, cause my life's a, and I don't need to tell y'all the times it's hard. And you don't need to tell me that I've been scarred. I'm not a fraud, let me believe that I'm in charge. I got the keys and I'ma drive this car. Pain behind these bars, need a minute, put my mind on pause. Hollywood, pull my back, my feet will shine these stores. One hit, one fix, one more dime, a toss, spiking my wrist. Crucify me, climb the car. And I don't need to tell y'all the times it's hard. And you don't need to tell me that I've been scarred. I'm not a fraud, let me believe that I'm in charge. I got the keys and I'ma drive this car. Pain behind these bars, need a minute, put my mind on pause. Hollywood, pull my back, my feet will shine these stars. One hit, one fix, one more dime, a toss, spiking my wrist. Crucify me, climb the car, yeah. Cadillac Ron, Makina bitch. Yeah.
I'm ready now.
Oh, you ready now?
Rip this shit. Thug shit. Straight up thug shit. What? Yo, from a young one up, runs go rough. Ghetto yo, moms no luck. Pop star project prop me up. Cops call new O's hung up. Talking street law, you fall, you get up. Stay true to all your homies and cuffs. Rock alone if you must. Top low, roll the streets, watch up. From the hood, hungry cities, clean spots up. Need things, ain't got much. Learn street games, cops name bucks. Bloody money thing with us. Bloody kingdom bust. Stuck with P1 and few I trust. Street living, no bluff. Know the street close up. Any week, so much. Enemies, no love. Just more slugs. Likewise, that old judge who's holding thugs. Mentally just molding thugs. Unjust, I know I'm thug. Before I fold less than trust, I just fill my mouth wide open, now open. Stuck in cold blood.
Never thugs. Killing time with slugs, pros in line with drugs. I'll die for my blood, drag bottles and floods. All for the love of the TV thing. Tell the region kings, spit through high winds, the frost the ice out your rings. We're the ones to blame for starting shit again. If you ever end on the park, intentionally walk, don't stop to top. Just listen, we got a vision. The exact opposite of niggas bitching. We different, bitching niggas. Finger fuck triggers until the pussy's wet, bleeding and upset. Sexually harassed, fuck fat in the projects. Parklands, nigga in the flesh. From birth to death, to swear a rep. That's my word, upper left. Until I rest with the best relief. I'm stressing beef, who die for the anthem, meet the street is deep. Now cream reminds me of life itself. Either you lost or there was doubt. Until then.
Yo, we all thugs, been thugs, gon' stay thugs. Maintain and stay locked with them chain thugs. Dedication niggas drop, them slang thugs. Representing for the block, it's where we came from, we all thugs. Been thugs, gon' stay thugs. Maintain and stay locked with them chain thugs. Dedication niggas drop, them slang thugs. Can't believe the haters talk, us niggas showed you love.
Stats and I spend, I no longer lend. Cause I don't trust none of my broke friends. They hoes broke for men, real low. Rather gamble my dough, shooting CeeLo in the back. Send away vinyls, $50 a roll. Stump code says so, point blank, it's all bank. Your money ain't valid here, Y2K's here. Don't fear, no nigga, never did. In the 23 years that I lived, going through hell, chopping cell, shining like hell. We hug the park tighter than time jail. My brother just got bail, for real. Tell me how you feel, welcome home. Money trees growing strong, like the BB tied on my left arm until I'm gone. The ink sinks deep in my flesh, it's like a song. It's like a triathlon, a block of wrong. Greedy dogs running out chops and running the cops. He wasn't properly tied, that's why he'll probably top with food in his mouth to get out without the help of his attorneys. Real niggas journey, they've been through hell. Squad love to the thugs that soldiered it out.
Like that OG Bobby was, life was mostly close scenes, homie found with slugs. Shout out, ain't got up, block stays hot, that's the projects. Niggas stay high like them coppers. Yo, who watching who ain't the topic. Pictures down dividing profits, ain't to the top yet. Think it through, play it safe, get off it. Rock your kid, talk to him before I talk you out on how you moving, wrong but right. If I do it, best to give them receive. Been proven, street life, snip white, a student, new to the game. A youth learn quick, move with the game. Now earning chips, proving this game. Still burning niggas, truth as I made it. Fuck you hating, faggot niggas talk war stories, ain't engaging. Rep for hard pacing, facing, correction connects, lace with them. Yo, been stressed on set, cage them, Cody turn fed, days dim, tell us days in. Each stuff, T stuff, ways to when you walk rough, awaiting sentence. In the subject's business, we in this. Thugs from the entrance, we all thugs. Been thugs, gon' stay thugs. Maintain and stay locked with them chain thugs. Dedication niggas drop, them slave thugs. Representing for the block, it's where we came from, we all thugs. Been thugs, gon' stay thugs. Maintain and stay locked with them chain thugs. Dedication niggas drop, them slave thugs. Can't believe the haters talk, us niggas showed you love. Yeah. Tell my hustler niggas up in it. Project niggas stuck in it. And real niggas repping it. Getting it. Niggas like us, you know what I'm saying? Kill Rock Records. Yeah.
Big shots, nigga, rep your block. Best be holding your tongue. The bloody north where the soldiers is from. Nigga, rep the T9 on your set be hot. Big shots, nigga, rep your block. Best be holding your tongue. The bloody north where the soldiers is from.
357 to Mac 11C7. Cock your weapon and stop yelling if you rep 187. I got niggas in the front ready and willing to split you down the middle just like a buzz. So walk without with me. The Lord will not forgive me for shaking up your kidney. Cause you faking and dizzy. My niggas lippy and shifty, pissy, Billy, Iggy, Shiggy. We don't give a wiggy. What really, Millie trying to kill the city like crack in the 80s. I'm ready to burn the 80s. My dog's infected with rabies. Not even my father can pay me. You niggas is crazy. Fuck a fight and learn what these talents do. You can be as cuckoo as you want. I'm unbalanced too. Facing the garden, I'm coming to rally you. Massacre splatter you. Run you off of your avenue while I laugh at you. The phonics are different dimension raucous. My figment of the appearance igneous. I'm in the district.
Big shots, nigga, rep your block.
You can't get that on purpose.
Best be holding your tongue. The bloody north where the soldiers is from. Nigga, rep the T9 on your set be hot. Big shots, nigga, rep your block. Best be holding your tongue. The bloody north where the soldiers is from. Star City where we blast shots. Then to the last block, your man mentality, cause all of us niggas stash rocks. Off the big game hawkers and feeling cash crops. Money growing trees just turning coke leaf to crack rock. Run the block, get a key and keep it padlocked. Innocent animals, watch your dog, jealous trash talk. We pack blocks and smoke weed, we head like Sasquatch. Fuck my niggas, dog, your son to dig you out of the sandbox. Better yet, I crash your plane, spit on the black box. Because he's highly trained on cocaine, higher than that plug, me that hard. You with more clips is for instance, the same equivalent as a bed nailing the insects, ridiculous. Most cats is sweet like licorice. I eat they food fast, smoke niggas similar to cigarettes. You dig me yet? Better catch me, burn the ass, I belong to burn the fast. Leave you colder than the Inuit. Rep the T9 on your set be hot. Big shots, nigga, rep your block. Best be holding your tongue. The bloody north where the soldiers is from. Nigga, rep the T9 on your set be hot. Big shots, nigga, rep your block. Best be holding your tongue. The bloody north where the soldiers is from.
I'm from the city where they keep it gully. Gritty niggas robbing out of city niggas, homie. Catching trees, stealing by the OGs. All we do is OGs. Play please, you small time like the little leagues. Pussy niggas bleed when they fuck with me. Turn like a track star when they fuck with me. Fuck shots, but I fuck shots, homie. I pack the hollows for the cops only. It's all real in the hood. They call me abs and still. Beside my abs, they're still. I make you feel still in your abs for real. Cook coke like a gourmet chef, perfection. See my dope flow stack up, erection. That's right. Attention, me getting love for hoes. Attention, we don't love them hoes. Lazy spark the draw, double crack them all. Niggas don't want war cause they lack the toast.
Yeah, you rep the T9 on your set be hot. Big shots, nigga, rep your block.
Fuck with them. That just means they can't fucking chase you around right now, so they don't want you out there at all. The police are telling us not to drive. Fuck off. I'm going to go drive just because.
Well, it's a good drive if you're closer to the city. As I mentioned in my last traffic report, Tim, your biggest concerns are north, east, and west of it, conveniently. So you're going to find those whiteout conditions in the Kitchener-Cambridge area. And then basically as north as Aurora and then heading towards Newmarket, anywhere past that is extremely treacherous. So headed up to Barrie and even beyond the 400 extension and Highway 11, two routes that are just whiteouts at this point. And if you're heading up that 35-115 to Peterborough, things are improving, but certainly expect some tougher conditions. Back to you, Carling.
Thank you, Zach. Well, the 680 news time is 2:04. Well, public high school teachers are walking out in several boards today, including Durham and Hamilton. All classes will resume as usual on Monday, March the 2nd. Meanwhile, Ontario's English Catholic School Teachers Union has announced a province-wide one-day strike next week. This job action set for March 5th will affect both elementary and secondary schools. OECTA says it suspended planned walkouts as a sign of good faith when it returned to the bargaining table earlier this week, but those talks broke off with the province without a deal.
680 News Time 2:05. The clock is ticking closer to a midnight deadline on Saturday, which would see a possible lockout or strike by the City of Toronto's outside workers. The city received the No Board report from the Ministry of Labour on February the 10th, which set the legal strike lockout deadline for QP Local 416 at 12:01 a.m. February the 28th. The two sides have been negotiating for more than 4 months, but have yet to come up with a deal. QP 416 is made up of about 5,000 outside workers, including garbage crews, the water department, and park staff. In a statement, the city says it remains committed to negotiating a collective agreement that is fair and affordable.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News at 2:06. In Quebec, health officials reporting the province's first presumptive case of COVID-19. The patient, a woman from the Montreal area, has recently returned from Iran. In Ontario, we now have the first case of human-to-human transmission in Toronto. 680's Phil Martino with that story. Toronto's Chief Medical Officer Dr. Eileen Davila says a man in his 60s tested positive for COVID-19. He's the husband of the province's 5th case. She had recently returned from a trip to Iran.
And he is currently at home in isolation, self-isolation.
Dr. David Williams, Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health, says there are now 13 cases of coronavirus in Canada, 6 in Ontario, 7 in BC.
We have 699 people tested.
How many people live in some sort of high-rise building?
21 are pending.
Health officials say people should continue to keep themselves informed by relying on
I don't want to
credible
know who
sources
sat
of
3 rows
information.
ahead and behind them.
Toronto
I want to
Public
know who
Health.
sat in
They
their
stress
seat
the risk to
on the
Ontarians
next
is still
flight.
low. I'm Phil Martino.
680 News Time 2:07. There is a warning that's been released about an unsafe batch of illicit drugs that could still be out on Toronto streets. Over 12 people have overdosed at one of the city's safe injection sites near Yonge and Dundas over the past few days. Janella Mass of City News has more.
Investigators believe the drugs were laced with a substance that doesn't respond to the anti-overdose medication administered by first responders.
Despite being administered naloxone, none of the individuals recovered in a way that was typical for a normal fentanyl overdose. This leads us to believe that the substance that was distributed was a mixture of fentanyl and another undetermined substance at this point.
The man who allegedly sold the drugs was arrested not far from the supervised consumption site. 38-year-old
He's just the only person in the world with this shit, right?
3 drug trafficking charges. Investigators say it's possible other batches of the potent drugs are still being sold elsewhere in the city, and they believe there could have been more overdoses if police hadn't stepped in and tracked down the dealer. Meanwhile, Board of Health Chair Joe Cressy says the issue at hand won't be solved just
why
by
it
making arrests.
stopped, because when you did that, other people heard that happened and stopped fucking selling. Because they're not
680 News Time 2:08. Well, it's one of the most humiliating moments in Toronto Maple Leafs history, and today it's going to be enshrined in the Hockey Hall of Fame forever.
David Ayres is going to come out of a historic moment for this young man with a victory as he catches the last shot, and the buzzer goes!
The stick used by Zamboni driver turned emergency backup goalie David Ayres will be put on display at the Hall today. The 42-year-old became a hockey and internet sensation when he became the first emergency backup goalie to actually win an NHL game. He helped beat the Leafs 6-3 on Saturday when he stepped into the crease for the Carolina Hurricanes. Ayres is also the oldest goalie to win a game in their first appearance in the NHL. His goalie stick will be put on display at 11 o'clock this morning.
Still to come on 680 News, we'll check on the price at the pumps, then head to the traffic center with Zach Bodenstein. 680 News Time 2:09.
This is Toronto's 680 News.
Let's do some F-150 math. 6, the number of engines you can choose from. 3,270. That's how many pounds of payload F-150 can carry. 13,200. That's how many pounds of anything it can tow. 0. That's the purchase finance rate you get for 60 months on select new 2020 F-150 models. It all adds up to F-150. Get the truck that's built for you. Visit your local Ford store or Ford.ca.
Now the 680 News gas price update. As Enpro predicted, the price of gas dropped 3 cents at midnight to $1.07.9 a liter at most GTA stations. Up next, traffic and weather together on the ones. 680 News Time, 210.
Get more
For
with
the
online
record, the
grocery
volume's
delivery from
not
Real
too
Canadian
high.
Food
I'm too
Store.
fucking
Shop
high.
your favorite
I'm too
groceries
fucking high.
online, at home, or from your phone,
And I
and
talk
get them
even
delivered
more
straight to
quiet
your
when
door in as little
this
as
mic
1
is.
hour.
I don't
That's
know why
right,
there's a
1
clicking in the
hour.
background.
But
I don't
that's not
really
all.
care.
For a limited time, you can get $25 off your first
It
order
picks up
when you
sound
try
incredibly
online
well.
grocery delivery. So you'll save on your grocery bill and save yourself a trip to the store. Get started at superstore.ca/delivery, because who doesn't love getting a little more?
Hi, I'm Brian Scudamore from 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Are these the young people I've heard about?
Yes, sir. These are them.
All I have to do is point?
Yes, sir. All you have to do is point.
I think they're stereotyping people, and they shouldn't be allowed to do that.
I could go to like this.
We like it too, sir.
They haven't mentioned a seniors
Less than 90
discount.
minutes.
And we work until midnight, 7 days a week.
When you want junk to disappear,
All you have to do is point.
call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit
Well, that one works. I'm
1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
gonna have another one.
680 News Time, 211. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Zach Bodenstein.
All right, Tim, looking at construction on our major routes. Westbound 401's affected, mostly in the Mississauga area. So southbound your Ontario ramp to that route, that's all closed off. We do have the West 401 ramps to and from Mavis shut down as well. At Mavis, it's only one left lane that's able to get by. But again, no delays through here. Eastbound 401, the construction starts in Scarborough. And we'll find the Meadowvale and the Collectors, 3 left lanes blocked off. And after that, just some road work at Port Union. The transfer lanes to the Express are all shut down. That ramp to Thixon has also been closed. If you're making your way south on the 404 DVP, nothing really doing. West Gardner also a good drive heading out of the downtown area. West QEW at Ford Drive, that's where 2 left lanes are blocked off. Eastbound QEW at Royal Windsor, 2 left lanes blocked through here. And then the Gardner in good shape headed towards the downtown area. So really not too bad. Most of that active weather's up north. So anywhere in Aurora, Newmarket, and beyond that, heading towards Barrie and through that area north of that, that's where things really start to get treacherous with those whiteout conditions. But again, closer to the city, looks like we're clear for now. Coming up next, 221, we'll check traffic again. And for now, here's the forecast with Michelle Mackey.
Well, we've seen some special weather statements for the city of Toronto for some strong winds this morning, gusting up to 70 kilometers an hour out of the west. So that is bringing us a bitter wind chill near minus 15 to start the day. Lake effect flurries and blowing snow could impact your morning commute as well. This afternoon, snow squalls become more intense and they're expected to reach the GTA, so prepare for sudden whiteout conditions on the roads. -3 the high Saturday, but the wind and snow will ease and we'll have partly cloudy skies. Today's high, a below seasonal, -4.
Right now, downtown, -5 and partly cloudy. The wind making things feel like -15 over at Pearson Airport. Similar conditions and -6. In entertainment news, rocker Billy Idol is the face of New York City's new anti-idling campaign.
Hey, New York, Billy Idol here, rock star and environmentalist. If you're not driving, shut your damn engine off. Idling.
The 1980s star growls Billy Idol never idles, so why should you, in a public service announcement intended to shame New Yorkers into shutting off their engines? City officials say the $1 million Billy Never Idles campaign will include billboards, TV, and radio spots, as well as social media ads.
BillyNeverIdles.nyc.
Still to come on 680 News, a list of your top stories and sports. 680 News Time, 2:13.
You've been diagnosed with depression and can't work. Your insurer advises that your depression is not serious and denies your claim. What are you going to do? Who can you call? Call me, Aaron Waxman, at 416-661-4878. And don't worry about upfront legal fees, because there are none. At my law firm, my team of lawyers only get paid when you get paid. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878 or on your cell phone at pound LTD.
A wise man once said to treat your body like a temple. But what did he say about the temple you call home? Just like your body, only the best will do for your home. And Appliance Canada brings you premium and ultra-premium brands with the quality and craftsmanship you'd expect from the top names. Sub-Zero, Wolf, Thermador, Miele, Gaggenau, Heston, and more. Backed by highly trained associates eager to help. Upgrade with Appliance Canada. Find a showroom in Toronto, Vaughan, or Mississauga at appliancecanada.com.
This is All News Radio, 680 News. It's -5 and partly cloudy. Good morning from the 6 City News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Tim Chapman. For the top stories this hour. A special weather statement is in effect as snow squalls swirl closer to Toronto and the GTA. It's likely to make for hazardous driving conditions, and provincial police are urging you to be extremely alert on your drive. Durham and Hamilton high schools are shuttered for a one-day walkout today. Meanwhile, the union representing Ontario English Catholic teachers will be hosting a province-wide strike on the 5th of March. The City of Toronto looks to avoid a possible strike with QP Local 416, which represents 5,000 outside workers. The two parties have until midnight to reach a deal. And coming up after sports, how Canada aims to protect the critically endangered North Atlantic right whale. 6 City News Time, 2:15. Now, 6 City Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Here's Asher Roth.
The Maple Leafs and Panthers combined for 6 goals in the first period of last night's game, then held each other off the score sheet until 9 minutes into the third period. That's when William Nylander scored the game winner, his 29th of the season, as the Leafs held on for a 5-3 victory. Zach Hyman, Austin Matthews, Justin Hall, and Kasperi Kapanen scored as well. Kapanen also got into a scrap in the first period, which Nylander says ignited his team.
When you see that, it obviously fires you up and gets you going. It's great that he's been able to, add a little bit extra to the team, which is great.
The Leafs sweep their trip through the Sunshine State. They host the Canucks tomorrow night on Hockey Night in Canada. Hyunjin Ryu struck out 2 and allowed 1 earned run on 3 hits in 2 innings. Reese McGuire went deep as the Jays and Twins tied 3-3 in Grapefruit League action. And what a week for Leila Annie Fernandez of Montreal. The 17-year-old tennis-playing teen is off to the semifinal at the Mexican Open after taking out Anastasia Potapova in straight sets. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590. 6 City News Time, 2:16.
I have a bid for $10, $10, do I get $20, $20?
Sold. Can I go home now? Sleep Country knows you can't do your job when you're tired. That's why our sleep experts do their job and mix the right products to match you to your best sleep. Now, during the Mix and Match sale, get incredible prices on a mix of mattresses, box springs, pillows, and more. Plus, hurry in for a Hot Buy Sealy Queen mattress, just $469. This price ends soon. Sleep Country, all for sleep.
The Princess Margaret Home Lottery is here, featuring an incredible $6.8 million grand prize, our biggest ever. A $5.2 million show home built by Green Park Group with interior design by Sarah Baumler, a lakefront cottage, and $500,000 cash. Homes, cottages, condos, cars, and more. It's one big prize after another. Support one of the top 5 cancer research centers in the world. Buy now at PrincessMargaretLotto.com.
680 News Time, 2:17. New details from Ontario's Solicitor General about what happened that Sunday morning in January when an emergency alert was sent out from a nuclear station in Pickering. Despite an investigation, there are still questions about how a false alarm could have been issued in the first place. Mark McAllister from City News reports.
You heard about what company's going to install the
nuclear station was sent across Ontario on January 12th.
You get idiots like this
testing the system accidentally sent a pre-scripted live message to the public rather than the training system normally tested twice a day. It took nearly 2 hours for a correction to be sent, saying it was a false alarm. No clear instructions were provided by multiple supervisors at the time about how a second alert should have been issued to inform the public of the mistake. The report also revealed the employees on duty that day hadn't completed the training needed. That training was cut short, and those people that were there that day didn't get the proper training that they were supposed to get. It was also the 7th consecutive workday and 3rd 12-hour shift in a row for the employee responsible. For that, officials simply repeat an apology. Mark McAllister, City News.
680 News Time, 2:19. Proposed changes to Canada's medically assisted dying laws are, for the most part, a step in the right direction. That's according to Sheila Sperry of Dying with Dignity. Sperry says that it's an important change.
Ever since June of 2016, when they brought the law in, it's been a question mark, and Audrey Parker was gigantically plain example of why it's not a very good piece of legislation.
The legislation tabled earlier this week would repeal the requirement that a person's natural death be reasonably foreseeable. Her case was mentioned by a federal minister in tabling this new bill. This is 680 News. Canada's rolling out new measures to protect the critically endangered North Atlantic right whale. The federal officials insist the rules will lead to more fishing closures in the Gulf of St. Lawrence or the Bay of Fundy. Fisheries minister says the new rules are aimed at reducing the main cause of the whale's population decline: ship strikes and entanglements.
What we've learned throughout this time is that these marine mammals are unpredictable and no longer aggregate or feed at the same areas they once did. It's why each season our measures change and evolve to be more effective than the year before. And the 2020 season is no different.
To prevent entanglements, Fisheries and Oceans Canada will impose new season-long fishing closures in areas where whales are gathering in the Gulf of St. Lawrence. Coming up, traffic and weather together on the ones. 680 News Time, 2:20.
Sometimes just an idea isn't enough to make your dream renovation become a reality. Leverage the equity you have in your home and turn your house into the space you've always dreamed of. Whether it's home renovations, college tuition, or the trip you've always wanted to surprise your family with, now's the time to let your house lend a hand. Whether you need $20,000, $30,000, or $300,000, Capital Direct is here to help. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL. .ca. Introducing Montfair by Fremont, a new mid-rise condominium residence coming soon to Brampton. Ideally located between verdant parkland and a spectacular new urban park. Only minutes to the GO station in charming Mount Pleasant Village. Enjoy a convenient, connected lifestyle in a unique community. 1 and 2 bedroom suites starting from the mid-300s. Register at Fremont.com.
680 News Time, 2:21. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Zach Bodenstein.
And this report is brought to you by 407 ETR. A few construction areas have already cleared. East 401 at Meadowvale Collectors and at Port Union. Those transfer lanes to the Express are now open, so you have access from the Collectors to the Express at this point. East 401, just some leftover construction at Thixon. The ramp to Thixon's all blocked off. South Huron, Ontario ramp to the westbound 401. That one's been closed since last night, and that continues into the morning. We have the West 401 ramps to and from Mavis shut down, and then it's only one left lane that's able to get through at Mavis. North-South 400, DVP 404, both of them good drives at this point. Westbound 401 at Ford Drive, it's 2 left lanes that are shut down. If you're east on the QBW at Royal Windsor, a couple of left lanes are taken out through there, but some good news, eastbound Gardner's in good shape all the way into the downtown core, and then from there the DVP looking great all the way up to the 401. We have the South 404 DVP also in pretty good shape, and not much to tell you about off of the major routes either. Just certainly be careful if you're in the northern areas, so Newmarket and Aurora, and anything beyond that, that includes Barrie and Cottage Country. It is really treacherous with those whiteout conditions. 35-115 also experiencing that as you make your way towards or from Peterborough. Kitchener, Cambridge, pretty much the same. This year, 407 ETR is adding 30 kilometers of new lanes to keep up with increasing traffic and keep your commutes fast, safe, and reliable. Visit 407etr.com. Let's have a look at the forecast. Here's Michelle Mackey.
Strong wind this morning, gusting up to 70 kilometers an hour. You will definitely feel it when you are driving. It'll shake your car a little bit. Trust me, I know from firsthand experience. So that is also bringing us a bitter wind chill. We're talking about feeling near minus 15 this morning, so you really need to wear quite a few layers. Don't have too much exposed skin. Lake effect flurries and blowing snow all day, but it's looking like the snow squalls will kind of intensify and move through the GTA into the afternoon. So prepare for sudden whiteout conditions on the roads. Snow squalls very dangerous. Seasonal daytime high should be around 0. Saturday, a chilly -3, wind chill -10 for your high under partly cloudy skies. Sunday, this will be the best day of the weekend to get outside with mainly sunny skies and a high of 1. Not as warm as last weekend, but hey, I'll take it. Today's high only -4 with a wind chill of -11.
Right now, downtown Toronto, -5 and partly cloudy. The wind making it feel like -14. Over at Pearson Airport, similar conditions and -6. Remember, 680 News is the only radio station with a weather guarantee. Today's jackpot stands at $16,800. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, the latest on a risk of snow squalls barreling down towards Toronto and the GTA, another round of education strikes, and why people in Toronto might be without garbage pickup next week. 680 News Time.
And the parks are going to be maintained. Guess where the garbage is going to
Now
go?
I've got to find the ring.
Find it at Spence. They custom make every ring.
Everyone says that.
But not like Spence. Choose Earthmined or artisan-created diamonds. Their cases are open, so you can choose from thousands of ring styles or design your own. So the only one to wear her ring is her.
Well,
and Spence has the financing to fit your budget. Now, what were you going to say?
I'm going to Spence.
Inspired by love, imagined by you, created by Spence.
In Scarborough, Vaughan, and Mississauga.
News
Is always changing.
now more than ever.
Listen 3, 4, 5 times a day.
This is 680 News.
Ask for us on your smart speaker.
Today marks the 10-year anniversary of Sidney Crosby's golden goal. On the last day of the final event of the 2010 Winter Olympics in Vancouver, Crosby shot the goal that was seen around the world. He scored at 7 minutes and 40 seconds into overtime on a quick shot between Ryan Miller's pads to give Canada a 3-2 win against the U.S. Fans around the world continue to talk about this monumental moment in Canadian sports, even 10 years later. 680 News Time at 2:25. Business next.
Hi, I'm Brian Scudamore from 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Are these the young people I've heard about?
Yes, sir. These are them.
All I have to do is point?
Yes, sir. All you have to do is point.
But what if I pointed at that? Oh my, I could go to like this.
We like it too, sir.
You were here in less than 90 minutes.
And we work until midnight, 7 days a week.
Time
When you want junk to
fucking time to
disappear,
bring
All
all their
you have to
customer
do
base.
is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
American Rock!
Together again. Live in concert. Randy Bachman and Burton Cummings. July 27th at the Budweiser stage. Celebrating music from the Guess Who and Bachman River Overdrive and Burton Cummings. Tickets on sale Friday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com and ticketmaster.ca.
680 News Time, 2:26. Now the 680 News Business Report. Here's Carl Garnish.
Good morning. After the Dow and S&P logged their biggest point drop in history Thursday due to coronavirus fears, a number of analysts are trying to determine what's next. Some think that attention could turn to the central banks, as a number of them have claimed that they would do what they can to support the global economy. Reports also claim the situation is increasing the chances of an interest rate cut from the U.S. Fed in the future. Wall Street finished in correction territory. All three U.S. benchmarks lower by more than 4.4%. It was a 6-day slide for the Dow and S&P. Dow plunging 1,190 points, 25,766, losing more than 3,200 points this week. S&P lower by 137 points, 2,978. Nasdaq fell by 414 points, 8,566. A technical issue cut the TSX's trading day short. It was left down by 1.9% or 324 points, 16,717. It's now time for the Express Gold Refining XAU.ca gold price update. It lost 60 cents, finishing at 1,642, a 3-day slide. A 5-day slide for oil, remaining at its lowest level in more than a year. It dropped by 3.4%, closing at $47.09 a barrel. Canadian crude index was down 3% to finish above $33 a barrel. Canadian dollar lost 34/100ths of a cent, closing at 74.66 cents U.S. Economists are preparing for fourth quarter GDP data for Canada, as well as U.S. personal income and consumption for January. Earnings are also expected from SNC-Lavalin, Laurentian Bank, and Onyx. Bloomberg's Larry Kofsky has more on what we're watching. A flagship technology event has fallen victim to the coronavirus. Facebook has canceled its annual F8 developer conference for this year. Also canceled this year is the Geneva Watch Show. Watchmakers are bracing for a drop in sales because Chinese consumers buy almost half of all watches Switzerland produces. Larry Kofsky, Bloomberg Radio.
At the Business Center, I'm Carl Garnash.
You don't buy office chairs from the back of a truck, get suits from the Dollar Mart. Reuse yesterday's copy. Buy an office that's falling apart. You don't hire an intern as your CEO or raccoons to clear your trash. Treat clients to a fast food lunch. You dial up to save some cash. You get what you pay for. So be careful what you choose. Use your original HP toner. And you just can't lose. 100% reliable, environmentally responsible. Always trust original HP toner.
We believe in being accountable to you, the listener, which is why we're a member of the Canadian Broadcast Standards Council. As a member, we're committed to upholding the highest standards of broadcasting and adhering to specific codes of conduct. If you have a comment on what you've heard, contact us or visit the CBSC's website, cbsc.ca. We'll respond to your concerns and send you information on the council and its codes.
You don't sound too concerned.
Now, with a
about
look
what you're
at
saying.
your business traveler's forecast. In Vancouver, it's some possible drizzle and 6 degrees. Ottawa, overcast and -9. South of the border, San Francisco, overcast and 13. Right now, downtown, -5 and partly cloudy. 680 News is CFCR AM Toronto.
Tell me Buffalo, New York.
680 News time, 2:30.
Detroit, Chicago, why is fucking San Francisco?
This is 680 News.
Good morning. This is Friday, February the 28th. I'm Carlin Donahue.
And I'm Tim Chapman. Here's what's making news this hour.
Weather advisories in effect as high winds and snow squalls threaten visibility on the roads across the GTA.
A presumptive case of COVID-19 has turned up in Quebec. This as health officials in Ontario report a 6th confirmed case in this province. Outside workers continue to battle it out at the bargaining table, with contract talks getting extended until midnight tonight.
One-day teacher walkouts continue across the province. The English Catholic Board now announcing a board-wide strike set a week from today.
The Maple Leafs come from behind to beat the Panthers. Hyunjin Ryu impresses in his Blue Jays spring debut. Surge is on the mend as Norm nears a return for the Raptors. Sports at 45.
Economists and the Bank of Canada are preparing for Canadian GDP data today. The TSX is preparing to begin trading after a shortened session as the Dow and S&P come off their biggest point drops ever.
6:30 News time, 2:31.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Zach Bodenstein.
This report brought to you by Monte Carlo Inns. Not much doing in terms of this weather closer to the city. That's the good news. Anything is south of Aurora, it seems like it's in really good shape and moving well, and it's just construction affecting our major routes beyond that. So southbound here, Ontario ramp to the West 401's all closed off. The road work continues. The West 401 ramps to and from Mavis shut down, and then through Mavis, it's only the left lane that's able to get through. A couple of right lanes are blocked off. Eastbound 401, crews have the right lane blocked off at Thixon. They've also shut that ramp to Thixon completely down, so there's no access through there. But the good news is anything beyond that and before that on the East 401 seems to be restriction-free. North and South 400, North-South DVP, that's a good drive. West Gardner leaving downtown in good shape. West QEW, 2 left lanes blocked at Ford Drive, and we have the East QE Gardner also pretty much up to speed. Just 2 left lanes blocked at Royal Windsor for that construction. Looking for a wonderful winter escape right now at Monte Carlo Inns? You can save 20% on a luxury suite. Go to MonteCarloInns.com and enter the promo code WINTER. Let's get a look at that forecast. Here's Michelle Mackey.
Strong wind gusts this morning up to 70 kilometers an hour out of the west. That's bringing us a bitter wind chill near -15 with lake effect flurries and blowing snow. This afternoon, snow squalls expected to reach the GTA, so do prepare for sudden whiteout conditions on the road, and the winds, they will still be quite strong, diminishing by tonight. Today's high is -4.
Right now downtown, -5 and partly cloudy. With the wind, it feels more like -14 over at Pearson Airport. Similar conditions and -6. 680 News time, 2:32.
A special weather statement is in effect for Toronto, while parts of the GTA remain under a special weather advisory warning of snow squalls.
680's Meg Black is on the weather watch.
And all that snowfall combined with high winds means snow squalls, posing serious issues on the roads, making for difficult, if not dangerous, travel. 680's meteorologist Carl Lamb says these systems are expected to continue.
We are not done with the snow just yet. As we head into Friday morning, we could see our first snow squall develop for areas just east of the city, and that includes areas like Markham, Unionville, over toward Pickering and Ajax.
In Safety First on the Roads, OPP Sergeant Carrie Schmidt is warning to exercise extreme caution out there on the roads as squalls compromise driver visibility.
Obviously, we want to make sure everyone has their full headlighting system on. If you're driving into an area with reduced visibility, you need to slow down before you get into that area of reduced visibility and be prepared to stop if necessary.
And OPP asking if you can, stay home and avoid the roads. I'm Meg Black.
680 News time, 2:34. Quebec health officials are reporting the province's first presumptive case of the new coronavirus. The patient, a woman from Montreal who has recently been to Iran. Here in Ontario, a man in his 60s is now the 6th case of COVID-19. He is the husband of the province's 5th case. The woman also had recently returned from Iran. Toronto's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Eileen de Villa, says the latest case of COVID-19 is currently at home in self-isolation. The only symptoms he had were a mild cough and a self-reported fever.
This person is the household contact of our most recently confirmed case of COVID-19 and is doing well at home.
The latest coronavirus case in Toronto brings the total in Ontario to 6. Despite 6 confirmed cases, Dr. David Williams, Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health, says the risk to Ontarians is low.
The containment aspect is still being handled assertively throughout the province.
Health officials say people should continue to keep themselves informed by relying on credible sources of information like Toronto Public Health. I'm Phil Martino.
Meanwhile, the Dow Jones Industrial Average sank nearly 1,200 points to deepen a week on a global market rout caused by worries about the coronavirus. Equity specialist Susan Schmidt of Aviva Investors says the market is skittish because there's no timeline to anticipate how much damage the outbreak will have on the global economy.
We're seeing an increasing sense of anxiety among the investor base as no one can anticipate how long this will impact companies and what it is going to do to operating profits overall. That's where we're seeing extra concern.
The viral outbreak began in China, but it spread to Canada and dozens of other countries in Asia, Europe, and the Middle East.
680 News Time, 2:35. Ontario's 45,000 Catholic elementary and high school teachers are set to hit the picket lines next week. The Ontario English Catholic Teachers Association has announced it will stage a province-wide walkout on March 5th. Next Thursday's strike will march the 4th province-wide walkout for the union. The union had previously suspended rotating strikes as a sign of good faith, but once talks broke off without a deal being reached, the strike was back on. Meantime, high school teachers are walking out in several boards today, including Durham and Hamilton.
680 News Time at 2:36. People in Toronto could be without garbage pickup, park maintenance, and a number of other services after this weekend. QB Local 416 and the City of Toronto are working to reach an agreement before a looming strike deadline at midnight tonight. The two parties have been in collective bargaining since September. QB 416 includes 5,000 outside workers, including garbage crews, the water department, and park staff.
680 News Time, 2:36. It's another day of meetings between the Wet'suwet'en Hereditary Chiefs, the federal government, and BC Indigenous Relations ministers today. The groups met yesterday despite a last-minute cancellation. Provincial and federal officials were left with positive feelings after the meeting, calling it productive and respectful. About a dozen supporters of the Coastal GasLink pipeline gathered outside where the talks were being held in Smithers, BC.
680 News Time, 2:37. It's a story made for Hollywood, but first its legacy will live on through the Hockey Hall of Fame. Sportsnet 590 The Fan's Asher Roth has the details on a bittersweet hockey hero.
Well, just in case you forgot,
The Toronto Maple Leafs lost an actual National Hockey League game to a 42-year-old Tim Bobby driver who works for them.
and that former Zamboni driver, David Ayres, has since become an overnight sensation.
I don't think I can finish the monologue.
Oh,
don't worry, Steven, I got you.
Well, just to remind the hockey world of what could be the most embarrassing moment of franchise history, that stick that Ayres used in the game is going to be put on display at the Hockey Hall of Fame this morning. The Whitby native became the first emergency backup to win an NHL game when he helped the Hurricanes beat the Leafs on Saturday, and he's now the oldest goalie to win a game in their first NHL appearance. Now, the Leafs have won both games since that fateful night, but make no mistake, this will haunt their fans for a long time. The stick goes on display at 11 o'clock. I'm Asher Roth.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News at 2:38. It'll be a chilly weekend, but if you're brave enough, you'll be able to explore Toronto on two wheels. Bike Share Toronto offers unlimited 30-minute station-to-station trips for the grand total of $0. The promotion runs both Saturday and Sunday. All you need is to download the Cycle Finder app, find your bike station, and unlock the bike that you want. Coming up on 680 News, we'll check on your gas prices and then head over to the traffic center with an update from Zach Bodenstein. 680 News time is 2:39.
You have more important things to do than be stuck in traffic.
Listen for up-to-date traffic reports only on 680 News.
Alpine Credits.
Hi there. I'm looking for a home renovation loan.
Wow, that's quite the voice.
I'm a professional voice actor.
Great. I'm not threatened. Do you own your home?
Indeed. Am I approved?
Yes, you're approved.
Approved.
Yes, approved. Okay, this ad is over.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. But if you have a great voice, please don't make our loan specialist feel insecure. We need him. Alpine Credits. Some conditions apply. Fiscal license 12616.
Paul Cook and Catherine Chate.
Weekday mornings starting at 5:30.
This is 680 News.
Now time for the 680 News gas price update. As Enpro predicted, the price of gas dropped 3 cents at midnight. It's now holding at $7.9 a liter at most GTA stations. Up next, traffic and weather together on the one. 680 News time, 2:39.
Right now at Tim Hortons, you can get 2 delicious breakfast sandwiches for just $5. That's a win. Kind of like when your neighbor is shoveling his sidewalk and decides to shovel yours too. Enjoy a win at Tim Hortons today and get any 2 freshly prepared breakfast sandwiches made with 100% Canadian eggs for just $5. It's always great value at Tim Hortons. Plus applicable taxes and conditions apply. Cannot be combined with other offers at participating restaurants for a limited time.
Thanks for calling Reliance Home Comfort. It's Jeff. How can I help you?
Hi, should I be concerned that my furnace is making strange noises?
Well, if it's rattling, grinding, or squeaking, I'd definitely recommend an inspection. It could be a simple adjustment, but if it can't be fixed, right now, you can get 30% off our featured furnace during our end-of-season furnace clearance sale. We're also including a free Google Nest thermostat and Nest Hub. When you need a great deal fast. Reliance. Conditions apply. See website for details.
Traffic reports every 10 minutes on the ones.
Traffic alerts at once. This
is 680 News.
680 News time, 2:41. It's time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Zach Bodenstein.
Just some construction out there right now, and westbound on the 401, you'll find all of it out west actually in the Mississauga area. So anything before that or after that, nothing's affected. Southbound here, Ontario ramp to the westbound 401, that's all shut down. On the highway itself, the ramps to and from Mavis are closed, and then it's only one left lane getting through Mavis. On the eastbound side, East 401 right lane taken out at Thixon. So is that entire ramp to Thixon. That is completely closed off. There's no access through here. The on-ramps, though, are available. It's just that off-ramp that's shut down. North and South 400, DVP 404, both of them moving very well in either direction. Really nothing to tell you about. If you're traveling on the East Kiwi Gardiner, you'll find the 2 left lanes shut down at Royal Windsor. And then on the westbound side, it's 2 left lanes that are closed at Ford Drive. Your next traffic report is coming up at 2:51. Let's have a look at the forecast. Here's Michelle Mackey.
Well, Thursday, Pearson Airport reported a wind gust over 75 kilometers an hour, and the winds still quite strong this morning, gusting out of the west up to 70 kilometers an hour. So we do have a bitter wind chill near minus 15. Still below seasonal into the afternoon. Lake effect snow and blowing snow a concern on the roads. By the time we get to Saturday, the pattern calms down a bit, but we are still below where we should be for this time of year. Seasonal high around 0. Our daytime high on Saturday at chilly minus 3. Wind chill minus 10 for your high under partly cloudy skies. Today's high is minus 4.
Downtown Toronto right now, we're sitting at minus 5. It feels like minus 14 thanks to the wind, and we're under a special weather statement over at Toronto Pearson, blowing snow advisory and minus 6. Still to come on 680 News, more on the province's response to a warning that was sent out to citizens last month regarding a nuclear power plant in Pickering. 680 News time, 2:43.
At No Frills, we like saving money as much as you do. So we're doing a frill-free radio spot using a robot assistant.
Hello. To help you save more and save the work of turning pages with your opposable human thumbs, our digital flyers got more pages, more deals, and more PC Optimum offers than our printed flyer. Basically, more. And who doesn't like that? Even I would like that. And at least you have thumbs.
Get it at nofrills.ca/flyer. Earn more, save more. More ways to haul. Let's do some F-150 math. 6, the number of engines you can choose from. 3,270. That's how many pounds of payload F-150 can carry. 13,200. That's how many pounds of anything it can tow. 0. That's the purchase finance rate you get for 60 months on select new 2020 F-150 models. It all adds up to F-150. Get the truck that's built for you. Visit your local Ford store or Ford.ca.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
It is -5 and partly cloudy in downtown Toronto. Good morning from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Caroline Donahue, and here are your top stories this hour. The weather continues to wreak havoc on the GTA. A special weather statement is still in effect. Today, the biggest problem will be the blowing snow and possible whiteout conditions on the roads. And the novel coronavirus continues to spread across the globe. The first presumptive case popped up in Quebec, and the first case of human-to-human transmission has now been confirmed in Toronto. As teacher walkouts continue across the province, the Ontario's English Catholic School Teachers Union has planned a one-day strike across the board set for March 5th. This walkout will include elementary and high school teachers. 680 News Time is 2:45. That means it's now time for 680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Here's Asher Roth.
Well, the Maple Leafs didn't make it easy for themselves against the Florida Panthers Thursday night. They trailed 3-1 midway through the first, but they battled back.
He goes down in there after it. Rubs his man on a centering pass. Marner. Backhand try. Scores! Holy mackerel. They tied the game.
Matthews' career-high 44th of the season tied the game 3-3, and it stayed that way until William Nylander potted the game winner in the third period, and the Buds held on for a 5-3 final. Kapanen, Hyman, and Hall scoring as well for the Maple Leafs. They return home to play the Canucks on Saturday. In other action, Bobby Ryan scored a hat-trick in just his second game back from the NHL's joint substance abuse program. Senators take out the Canucks 5-2. Rangers scored 5 unanswered to shock the Habs 5-2. Jets blanked Ovi and the Caps 3-0. The Predators shocked the Flames 4-3 in overtime, and the Blackhawks tamed Tampa 5-2. Maple Leafs are now just 4 points back of the Lightning for second in the Atlantic. Hyun-Jin Ryu allowed 3 hits and 1 earned run and struck out 2 in his Blue Jays spring debut as the Jays and Twins played to a 3-3 tie. And Norm Powell practiced with the Raptors on Thursday. He's now listed as questionable for tonight's game against Charlotte, as is Serge Ibaka, who's suffering from knee soreness. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590. 680 News Time, 2:46.
Okay, stop. The best appliance deal ever is still on at Goldman's. You'll save up to $500 on all Eco appliances. Yep, that's $500 on top of manufacturer rebates and promotions. Pricing on most Bosch dishwashers are lower than, well, they've ever been. Energy savings rebate by the Government of Canada. Check out Bosch at Goldmans.com.
If you're like most people, you probably think all banks are the same. And you'd be right. And like most people, you probably just keep on banking with them. Why not Duca instead? At Duca Credit Union, you get no-fee checking accounts. You also get high interest on deposits and investments, and low mortgage rates. Plus, you get to share in the profits. That's the Duca difference. Find out what Duca can do for you at Duca.com. Do more, be more, achieve more with Duca Credit Union.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News. An investigation into a false alarm about a nuclear incident at the Pickering Nuclear Generating Station has found it was the result of human error. A report from the Chief of Emergency Management Ontario blames communications failures, procedural gaps, and a lack of training for why it took 108 minutes to give an all clear. Solicitor General Sylvia Jones says lessons have, of course, been learned.
I'm not happy about it, but at the end of the day, I think that we have a better system, that we can give assurances to the people of Ontario that the system has been improved, and ultimately, we don't want it to happen again.
The report says the duty officer at the Provincial Emergency Operations Centre mistakenly thought they'd logged out of the live stream and into the training system to send a test alert. 680 News Time, 2:48. The Ontario Liberal Party has won 2 provincial by-elections in the Ottawa area. Stephen Blaise and Lucille Collard will replace 2 Liberal MPPs who stepped down last year. The Liberals now hold 8 seats at Queen's Park, still 4 short of official party status. The party was widely expected to hold the ridings headed into the vote. 680 News Time, 2:48. A trial has been set for actress Lori Loughlin in the U.S. college admissions bribery scandal.
The trial is supposed to start October 5th in Boston for Loughlin and her fashion designer husband, Massimo Giannoli. The charges are they bribed their daughter's way into the University of Southern California. Defense attorneys say they have new evidence and will exonerate the couple. Loughlin plays Aunt Becky on Full House. She and her husband are accused of paying $500,000 to get their daughters into USC as recruits to the rowing team by helping create fake athletic profiles with photos of the daughters posing on rowing machines. I'm Ed Donahue.
This is All News Radio 680 News at 2:49. A two-story home under construction in Toronto's West End has collapsed. Emergency responders were called to the home on Homeview Avenue near Jane Street in St. Clair just after 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Video from the scene shows the structure leaning on the neighboring home. The house has windows installed, but no bricks or siding. No injuries were reported. The Ministry of Labor has been called in to investigate. And coming up on 680 News, we'll head over to the traffic center with an update from Zach Bodenstein and get your extended forecast with Michelle Mackey. 680 News Time, 2:50.
Every day, Canadians are buying homes and getting the wrong mortgage rates. Important announcement. If you have a mortgage closing in the next 60 days, 2.38% 5-year fixed mortgage rates are available at butlermortgage.ca. No matter what you were told or what you signed, you can still switch to 2.38% 5-year fixed. No gimmicks, no fees. Standard mortgages at 2.38% 5-year fixed. To learn if you qualify, go to butlermortgage.ca now.
License number 12118, high ratio fixed rate, APR 2.39%. So if we win Cash for Life's $1,000 a week for life, there's so much more we could do. Like redo the backyard so the dogs can run around. We'll have barbecues for our families. And one day, put in a pool. The kids are going to love a pool.
That sounds great. I mean, it's only our second date, but I like where it's going. With Cash for Life, you could win $1,000 every week for life. Cash for Life, the fantastic feeling goes on and on.
680 News Time, 2:51. Now time for traffic and weather. Together on the ones. Traffic first with Zach Bodenstein.
And it's a pretty quiet drive out there. Again, we're only looking at construction. And if you're headed west on the 401, the only area that is affected by that roadwork is in the Mississauga area. The South Huron, Ontario ramp to that route is shut down. West 401 ramps to and from Mavis are closed, and only the left lane able to get through at Mavis itself. Eastbound 401 construction is out east. The right lane blocked at Thixon. The ramp to Thixon, that one is actually completely shut down. Nothing else doing involving the 401. And fast forwarding to the South DVP, it's in good shape all the way down to the downtown area. Westbound Gardner moving well from there. And then west on the QEW, it's a couple of left lanes that are taken out at Ford Drive in Oakville. Eastbound QEW at Royal Windsor, 2 left lanes blocked, not much beyond that. So that includes the Gardner headed east to the downtown core. 427, 403, 410, 410, I should say. Those are all moving extremely well. Really, that active weather and not a big deal unless you're just north of Aurora. So Newmarket's certainly affected at this point, and then making your way towards Innisfil and Barrie, that's where things certainly get tougher with those whiteout conditions. So the 400 extension and Highway 11 are 2 routes that are pretty tough at this time. Even the 35 115, not the best drive into and out of Peterborough. You'll want to watch out for that again, whether you're on the highway or on city streets. It's certainly tough north of Newmarket and making your way through that zone. So certainly watch out for that as the active weather gets tough, but closer to the city. Once again, we are moving well. And now it's time to check the extended forecast in detail. Here's Michelle Mackey.
The winds are howling, gusting up to 70 kilometers an hour out of the west. You'll feel it while you drive. That's bringing us a bitter wind chill near minus 15 this morning. To start the day, you need all of the winter layers, plus lake effect flurries and blowing snow. A bit of a concern this morning. The bigger story this afternoon and evening. During the commute, snow squalls expected to reach the GTA. Prepare for sudden whiteout conditions on the roads. Seasonal daytime high should be around 0. Saturday, a chilly minus 3, wind chill minus 10 for your high under partly cloudy skies. Sunday, shaping up to be a good one. Likely the best day of the weekend to get outside. Mainly sunny skies, the high 1, back to seasonal. Yay. Temperatures warm above seasonal for the start of the week, but a system looks to move in, bringing us a few days of showers. Today's high minus 4 with a wind chill of minus 11.
In downtown Toronto, it's -5. It feels more like -14 with the wind, and we're under a partly cloudy sky. Over at Toronto Pearson, -6, feeling more like -14. Coming up at 3 o'clock, the latest on the wintry weather taking over the GTA. If you don't have to drive, stay home as gusting winds and blowing snow are making for a difficult ride through the GTA. 680 News Time, 2:54.
People are really talking about Mazda's iActive all-wheel drive, especially Mazda owners. Kathy from Kitchener says,
I always feel safe while driving this vehicle, especially in winter.
Troy from Halifax adds, it's amazing in winter conditions. Right now, you can receive up to a $1,000 iActive all-wheel drive credit on select new models, plus Mazda's unlimited mileage warranty. Visit your local Mazda dealer or Mazda.ca today.
This is the 680 News event calendar.
Don't miss an exciting event of psychological wonder coming to Casa Loma this April. The State of Mind and the Illusion of Choice takes guests on a cerebral experience into a colorful and exciting celebration of human consciousness. On from April 9th until May 10th at Casa Loma.
Check out the 680 News events page for more at 680news.com.
Coming up in just 60 seconds, we'll have your business report. 680 News Time, 2:55. Every small to medium-sized business has one. The IT guy that isn't really an IT guy that everyone depends on to fix their IT problems.
At first, it was no big deal. Just people looking to change a password or print something. Next thing I know, we're talking DDoS attacks, cloud migration, and something called autocation.
Oh, boy.
Do you have any idea how much money this company loses every time the server goes down?
As a matter of fact...
Who do these people think I am? Some kind of tech-head ninja code-writing cloud hosting guru?
Actually, that sounds exactly like us.
I'm the president.
Never just crashed again.
I don't have time for this.
That's okay, because we do. We're Apps on Net.
Apps on what?
Apps on Net. And we're it when it comes to managed IT services for small to medium-sized business.
Go on.
Endpoint support, network security, proactive maintenance.
Cloud hosting?
100%.
Guaranteed?
Guaranteed.
Sold.
Get the relief you need with IT support from Apps on Net. Visit us online at allgainnopain.ca or call 1-855-255-4667. That's 1-855-ALL-G-NO-P. 680 News Time is 2:56. It's now time for your business report. Here's Carl Garnish.
Good morning. Fourth quarter GDP data for Canada is on the economic calendar today. And some forecasts are expecting an annualized rate increase of 0.3%. Anthony Acolio, Money Talk Markets editor at TD Wealth, says this data is expected to catch the Bank of Canada's eye as it mulls its next interest rate decision.
Certainly going to look at the Canadian GDP numbers to see, is the economy slowing? Is there potential for it to slow further with the coronavirus? And so I think they'll be watching this data very closely.
Canadian dollar lost 34.1 cents, closing at 74.66 cents U.S. The Dow and S&P suffered their biggest point drops in history due to coronavirus fears. Wall Street finishing in correction territory, all three benchmarks lower by more than 4.4%. It was a 6-day slide for the Dow and S&P, Dow plunging 1,190 points, 25,766, losing more than 3,200 points this week. S&P lower by 137 points, 2,978. NASDAQ losing 414 points, 8,566. The TSX's trading day was cut short due to technical issues. It was down by 1.9% or 324 points, 16,717. Now time for the Express Gold Refining XAU.ca gold price update. It lost 60 cents, finishing at 1,642. A 3-day slide. Oil was lower for a 5th day in a row, remaining around its lowest level in more than a year. It dropped by 3.4%, closing at $47.09 a barrel. Canadian crude index lower by 3% to finish above $33 a barrel. We're watching for U.S. personal income and consumption for January. Earnings are also expected from Onyx, Laurentian Bank, and SNC-Lavalin. Bloomberg's Larry Kofsky has more on what we're watching.
One of the world's largest mining conferences will go on as scheduled in Toronto this weekend. Organizers will have lots of hand sanitizer on hand and are ramping up disinfection of everything from door handles to touchscreens. Larry Kofsky, Bloomberg Radio.
At the Business Center, I'm Carl Garnish.
You'll hear it here
First, breaking news when it happens.
on 680 News.
I used to be one of those cranky builders running a small business with no time for anyone else. Excuse me for a second.
Did you